What's up, MPX addicts, and welcome to the MPX Rehab. I am your host, the hashtag Certified Mark J. Williams, here with my co-host, as always,
the voice of the MPX addicts, Kyle Smith.
And tonight is one of our special nights as we continue the countdown to the day that none of us want, the end of MPX. And tonight we have the Monster Hunter, the Centerfold, the Anarchist. You had so many hats.
Yeah.
Matthew Palmer.
Hi everyone. What's going on? Well, do you want to talk about these different hats of mine?
Yeah, actually, I was hoping we'd be able to
that was one of my questions.
What do you got?
Well, no, I was kind of curious. Okay, so yeah, we originally, at least from the old building, when I started seeing you, when I first saw you, and when I first started going to MPX, you were the Centerfold. Mm-hmm. Then at the new building, later on, you became the Anarchist, and now you're the Monster Hunter. Did you feel there was need for a change? Was it like, hey, you need the change? Or was it, because they are all completely different. The Centerfold is high-flying, fun, technical, everything like that. The Anarchist was kind of vicious, technical, obviously, because you're technical in general. And the Monster Hunter, it seems like you're having fun. Like, it's probably the most character work you've done.
He's playing Dungeons & Dragons in the middle of the ring.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't even pay attention to you guys anymore. Now it's just like, oh, that's a nat 20 drop kick. So the male model thing was the first thing I ever did. And that was 16 years ago. Oh, God. And I just basically aged out of it. Because, like, I had a match with a guy. I don't want to speak his name because he's a creep. But, like, he split open my chin, like, all the way down to the bone. Mm. And I was like, well, you can't be the pretty boy, like, white meat baby face, look like you're 10 years old, and you got a big scar down your face. And then the crow's feet started coming in. And I was like, growing facial hair a lot. Damn it. Puberty starting to hit. So it's like I was like, okay, let's do something else. And so after, I don't know, 6 to 8 years, something like that, I did the part at different places all the time. I started doing the Anarchist thing because I wrestled for Anarchy Championship Wrestling, and I was basically a serial killer in character. Not in real life.
They had a lot. They had a lot of those at ACW.
Yeah. I was the only one who did it well. You know that because I'm the only one still wrestling. No. It was just we did like an axe killer type gimmick, which I hate to break it to people. I never got to use the axe. It didn't make sense for me to cover my hand like a sledgehammer and hit guys with it. But we did do something where I stole a little person from... They wanted to write off this character, and he was like a clownish gimmick, and so I kidnapped him in the middle of like someone else's match, and we did the Watchmen thing where Rorschach goes in the room and the door keeps swinging and then blood starts coming through the bottom of the thing, and we wrote him off. I guess I killed him. Anyway, I was a babyface. So we started doing an Anarchist kind of thing going. Richard Hill was like, I just want you to be Shawn Michaels. It's like, what? I just want you to do a nip-up super kick every match. It's like, so just no sell super kick? Sweet. Can we add a little character to this? It's like, how about the Anarchist thing? Why this? Because you're just erratic. And I was like, by the way, you can't rest during your matches. They're all 30 minutes, though. One big run spot. And I was like, wait, what? Hold on. And then the Monster Hunter was just an element of COVID. That was me being home alone during COVID. Well, not home alone, home with my wife, and we would watch each other's childhood movies. Mm-hmm. A little known fact about me, didn't have much of a childhood. My dad kind of made us all watch Vincent Price movies over and over.
Wow.
Nothing like listening to the Beach Boys constantly. And so we would do that. We would watch these grade B movies from like the 30s to the 50s. And so one day I think I was watching The Tingler, which is, I don't want to bore you guys like I had to be bored for the entire childhood. But basically it's just these stupid monster movies with some 40-year-old white guy having to go take them down. And I go, hey, that's pretty much my casting right there. So like I'm gonna go be the guy who fights these 7-foot-tall dudes who want to wear eyeliner and makeup and then complain about having to put people over. So I'm gonna go wrestle them and see what we can do. Anyway. Interview's over, guys. Nailed it. Fucking nailed it. Let's
Great
go.
show. Awesome.
But no, actually, that's worked out pretty well. It's been a lot of fun. Honestly, where did you get the inspiration for a lot of these and for a lot of what you do?
I was a cutie patootie, and so I became the centerfold. No, that was Richard Hill's idea. Richard Hill was the first person I ever worked for. I was trained at the facility that he booked for. So that male model gimmick was the first thing he came up with, but it was literally the male model Matt Palmer, and I had to be like, hey, can we throw some Jay Giles in there? Just be the centerfold, whatever. In the Anarchist, there was no inspiration. It was just, hey, you can't be the pretty boy, but we really need somebody to take some cinder blocks, or hey, can you do the barbed wire stuff, or whatever. I was like, yeah, all right, I'm 20 and dumb. So yeah, that sounds fine. But the Monster Hunter thing is just, it's a culmination of everything. I had to play Ash from Evil Dead at a wrestling show called Super Fantasy Cosplay Wrestling.
Oh, wow.
Where I played Ash, where I got beat up from Rey from Star Wars. I got beat up by Dovahkiin. I would steal Storm, the X-Men's pin. I pinned Spider-Man on one match. It's just stupid nonsense things, like, and I did it in front of like Rey Mysterio and Trish Stratus.
It actually sounds amazing. I want to find this now.
Kevin Conroy's just chilling backstage, walking by me. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm just talking to him, and all these like famous,
That's the
like,
real Batman. Hold on.
yeah, what's up, dude? Even you're taller than me. And so, like,
well, right now you're taller, so it's okay.
Yeah, I have to. Like we were talking earlier, I didn't want to look like Frodo next to everybody, so I took the tall stool. And so, like, I took a bit of that, and I took a bit of watching my childhood, which was basically my grandparents' childhood from those Vincent Price movies and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, what can I do that's just fun? I've always had these fucking promoters telling me, it's like, oh, you need more facial expressions. And that's usually what they say to me after I ask for a raise for wrestling 45 minutes in their match that they asked for. And so it was like Gabe Sapolsky and they would be like, you need more facial expressions. So Gabe Sapolsky told me one time, he's like, you need more facial expressions. And I was like, what do you, I don't do any moves. They don't have anything cool. This is all I got. And so, like, I had to put makeup on, and it's like, yeah, and just do all these, like, give me my close-up, Mr. DeVille, kind of, like, things now. So now I just, like, all right, the wrestling's whatever. I'll go and tango with anyone. It's just hand gestures and dumb faces.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, we got a question from the comments. Who comes up with your clothing and who makes it?
Who comes up with my clothing? Right now, it's Tanya Dunbar. But she's pregnant. She's got those kids coming, so like she doesn't want to make my gear right now, which I think is absurd. I think a 7-month pregnant woman needs to make my damn tights for my little wrestling show. It's a collaborative effort with her and a lady named Sue Katulski, who did a lot of my work for years, but she makes most of WWE stuff now. Yeah. She was making like Jericho's and Bray Wyatt's and Roman's. I remember I helped her make Jericho's tights for one of the WrestleManias. Awesome. I thought, like, this is the height of my career. Just like putting a little bedazzling on the GOAT, Jericho. But yeah, it was Tanya Dunbar right now. Nobody take her work from me. Every time they get busy, I always get lost in the shuffle. I gotta find a new seamstress.
No.
So yeah, redact that name when you edit this.
Yeah. Oh, dang, we're live.
No.
All right. So actually, what got you into wrestling and everything like that? And then, like, both as a fan and then as a wrestler itself.
I was 4, and just kid and his mom. Just poor country, white trash kid, and I happened to watch, it's like I was raised by the TV, obviously. Mom had to go work all these jobs, and so like I was just shoved in front of a TV. I feel like I'm gonna fall at any moment. It's like the typical wrestling life, isn't it? Fall at any moment, take a bump. And so I was just shoved in front of a TV, and it was a Bret Hart Davey Boy Smith match. Nice. Bret was in the mid card feuding for the IC title at the time, and that was my thing. That became my hero, Bret Hart, the guy who just wants to go out there and do a good job, and he's just good at it. He's not here yelling and obviously taking drugs on the main event. But I was 4 and I loved it, and I just became obsessed with it after that. I learned to read through reading wrestling magazines and stuff like that. I learned to get out of my very introverted, shy shell by wrestling and things like that. Cutting promos, wrestling with my little Hulk Hogan plushie. My dad swears one time the plushie pinned me, and I said, no, I kicked out. That doesn't count. And then one day, years later, I was managing a Wendy's, kind of job, and I just decided to quit, and I'm going to go see a wrestling show. They happened to have Lance Hoyt advertising his show to train people. I joined the next day, and here we are 16 years later. Didn't do much with it, but I'm still doing it.
Well,
and yeah.
I remember because I was at the old building, and then I moved to Maine, and I got into Beyond, and I started rewatching a lot of their stuff. And you were a lot of their older Beyond shows.
Yeah,
like
a couple.
And that's the thing I realized. Like, I saw it, and I go, no, that's our guy. That's our local guy.
That's
That's
me.
my champion.
That's
What's
this guy
going
right
on?
Yeah.
How did that all come about? Like, so you originally started here,
Yes.
and then you kind of just branched out everywhere? Or like, how did that kind of come about?
Yeah,
Because like I said, it was the early on Beyond, before Beyond was like big.
Right. I really missed the boat on that one. Damn it. No, it's I've been to 40 plus states wrestling. I couldn't tell you how many exactly, but I've been to a ton of places wrestling, and the bookings come in different manners. I reach out to them going, hey, give Papa Palmer some work. I'll bump for you, please. I'll bump whatever you want. Maybe I'll just throw me over the top rope. Or guys will hit me up. Like in that case, Beyond, I think, reached out because of Athena. Okay. They had asked her, it's like, hey, who's this guy that wrestled Masada in the scaffold match? There's little Matty P here. And they was like, hey, do you mind coming in and doing this 2-night tournament? Where my favorite match to this date took place. If you're watching this, take a second to YouTube and go watch Green Ant versus Matt Palmer at Beyond Wrestling.
Yeah.
It showcases everything great about my ability to wrestle. The match lasts 5 seconds. I walk in and take a super kick. It was 3 in the morning. It was 3 in the morning, and we were in the semifinals of a tournament. I was like, can you bastards put time limits on your cards? Everyone's going 45 minutes.
There's a promotion here that does that too, so.
That's every indie show, but it's constant just screaming into the void. Can we please just go 10, 15 minutes? 45 seems a bit much.
Just a bit.
It's the opener. We have 13 more matches.
God, yeah, no, that does remind me. It's it was that VIP show, that first VIP show I ever went to. I went specifically because it was you versus Xavier Daniels.
Xavier Daniels.
Yeah, and I was like,
Was that the promo?
Yes, those promos were great.
Where I was gonna do steroids on camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had Griffey holding the camera there.
Yep.
Oh, that was Griffey.
No,
Okay.
He didn't even come in. He goes, no, man, no. What the fuck?
Griffey's one of my closest friends. So anytime I'm doing something, he's usually holding the camera. And he's finally, after all these years, starting to stop giggle while he's holding the camera. I couldn't tell you how many awesome ideas I've had just spontaneously just improvised right there. And this ass is just going lowering the camera. It's come on, man.
Well,
that was one take.
It's they reposted it. It was either you or JJ or James Johnson reposted it of you and him when y'all were the tag team.
Oh, that was me. That was me. I reposted
Those were hilarious.
Oh, they were fantastic.
Some of my favorite ones. The Simply Irresistible, which was originally Robert Evans and myself, one of the trainers I had, Robert Evans. And then every time one of us couldn't make it, James would slip in and he'd be Simply Irresistible. So it's hell yeah, this is the trios group.
Yep.
And then Robert, left to go pursue great writing jobs. And left me here with James. And we came up with promos where we were naked in the shower.
Your promos with James Johnson are some of the funniest, especially your latest ones with
the Monster Hunter.
The Monster Hunter.
Yes.
It's the way the two of you work off of each other.
To
the Monster Hunter. I don't have the voice right now because I don't have the makeup on. It's weird. But all those that I do with James is the first thing we do is we sit there and we improvise something, and then I rewatch it going, okay, we got to cut this and a little inflection here, and we're good. And then the next thing we do, we're running in the middle of the street as he's chasing me with a knife, and my neighbors are just looking at me like, what?
It's okay, guys. I'm a wrestler. It's fine.
It's all right, Shannon. It's okay.
Oh yeah. No, Iron Belly and I got the cops called on us once when we were doing one of his promos out in the park. Because they're like, there's a couple of white guys out there yelling, and one of them's just, being...
There has not ever been a police report.
I was going to say, wait a minute.
That starts with, there's a couple of white guys.
What hood were you in?
I know, right?
Like white guys.
It's in Louisville, of all places. It was so weird, because that's what the cop told us. Like, yeah, they said there were a couple of guys out there, they're obviously white. I'm just like...
They're obviously white, so don't rush, but one of them's got a really big hammer.
Oh, my God. Was the troll in Central Park around here?
I guess, yeah.
All right, what do you got here? What do you got?
Oh, yeah.
Let me see this paper here.
Got a whole bunch.
All right, this is the question you hate.
Yes, I do. Every time it's asked.
You hate this.
I really do.
Do you want to explain why you hate it before I read it?
Well, go ahead and read the question.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I'm sure people know, but let's find out.
All right, fellas.
Well,
I got
you're
it.
very obvious
I
about
do
which one you
I do
hate.
this enough. I do this. Biggest mistake I do not regret.
And the reason I hate this question so much
It's
is
because he hates Iron Belly.
No. I'm
Who
okay
does
with
it?
I'm okay with hobbles. God, he's gonna hit me later.
Oh, yeah.
You call him hobbles?
Yes.
Is it because he looks like a marionette? Like the way
No,
he
there
looks
was
like
one
Kali?
time he hurt his knee, just one time, and it was fine like a week later, was it not? It was simply just
No, he had to have
week.
surgery.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he had to have full surgery.
Oh, shit, I don't remember that.
Low
Now I
blow,
feel
dude.
super bad.
Low
Yeah.
blow, dick
Now
move.
I feel super bad.
Dick move.
I thought it was simple, but he limped in. I was like, oh yeah, there goes Hobbles. And then apparently the next week of training, everyone called him Hobbles. Because I didn't realize
no.
people actually watched our shit.
I'm still amazed.
And so he's like, everyone calls me Hobbles now. I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, people heard you. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Well, of course I'm going to run into the ground now because you told me.
Would you say that's the biggest mistake you don't regret?
No, because I don't regret it because it's great.
Okay.
No, the reason I hate this question is I try to live by the whole no regrets thing. Like everything bad that happens or anything you regret, no, it happened for a reason. You lost a job, you had a failed marriage, you had a failed relationship. Whatever happens, there's a reason to it. Like, I feel there's no regrets in life. So that's why I hate that.
He personifies no regrets.
I try
Regrets.
to.
Anytime somebody says something like that.
Yes, we have a question from PR.
Oh, what's up?
Are you sure?
About
Solid
which
question.
Are you sure about your no regrets?
Yeah, I have no regrets. Can you really find me one? If you message me one and I agree, I'll give you money.
No. There's no need for messaging now. We've already started the conversation.
Yeah.
Why don't you come over on this side of the camera and let us know what this regret is.
I don't regret my failed marriage or my failed relationship. Is that what you're talking about?
Damn.
All right.
We went
Shit,
deep
that was on
that
live,
one.
too.
I know, right?
We went rough.
Why do I...
Maybe I should answer the question.
Why do you
now.
Probably.
give me a live mic? What the fuck?
Okay.
Because this is great TV.
This is TV. Look at me.
YouTube, whatever.
Biggest mistake I do not regret. It's got to be getting into wrestling.
It's...
I mean, it's got to be, right? Because, like, I'm 5'7" now. People keep dropping me on my head. And I broke in, I was 125 pounds. If it tells you anything, I'm 185 now. I've had to gain a lot. Yeah, I did my best, darn it. I already had everybody walking around going, oh, look at this scrawny kid. Look at
Xavier
this,
was helping
he's
you, right?
short. Oh, yeah. I'm like, I've been wrestling like 10 years longer than Xavier. I can show him a few things if he's ready. No, it was like, would you walk into a place where it's Action Jackson, Mike Falk, Colossus, Paul London, AJ Styles, Robert Evans, Wally Darkman, Gigolo James Johnson, everyone that you like here hasn't even like reached puberty yet. You know what I mean? And I am the young, small kid walking in, having to wrestle these guys and also be what we call, insider term, fellas, the bump bitch. Mike Fox wants to learn a new move. You know who we got? Light as a feather Matt Palmer. Or as we like to call him back in the day, Little Matty P. What's that? Aaron Eagle saw Teddy Hart do a powerbomb backbreaker, and he wants to practice it. Well, you know who we should book against him.
Jeez.
Little Matt Palmer. And so, like, it was just an ordeal of gaining weight. Because, like, obviously this ain't happening. Like, as much as those bastards stretched me backstage, I was not getting taller. So I had to, like, work out. And that's where guys like Franco D'Angelo came in and Barbie Hayden, all those people helped me gain weight and get muscular. But yeah, wrestling with all the pain And the fact that I can't remember certain words anymore because I keep getting super kicked and it's like that constantly. Yeah, wrestling, but I love it. I can't.
I was gonna say, but to my point, it's not necessarily a regret because you met your wife out of it.
Well, yeah.
So, I
yeah,
mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't regret it.
Right.
Obviously was a mistake. When you guys see me at 60 and I'm wheeling around in a wheelchair going, hey, who are you? I was a wrestler? You guys will be like, I think Palmer fell down too many times. You know what I mean? Just like,
Somebody dropped him on his head one too many times.
And Sydney, one of the screamers, says Huvada Kadava.
okay.
Yeah, she said you'll understand.
Yeah, there's a Harry Potter reference. I think the majority of millennials understand.
Right?
No, Sydney, sorry, I was underplaying that a lot. No, she requested that I hold my cane as such and do my best Voldemort impression, which...
How dare he not be Harry Potter? What are we casting here?
No. So, no shit, guys. I was invited to a wedding by another wrestler, and it's all Harry Potter themed. And they're like, come as your houses. Good news, Slytherin. Hell yeah,
Good
Slytherin.
job.
So I'm just like thinking like, what if I do the long blonde hair? And I'd like have... I have Athena dress up as Dobby. And I come in as like one of the Malfoys. And she's like, no, I'm going to be this character.
She immediately said no.
Oh, of course. My arm was bruised for 3 days. And I was like, okay, well, there goes my idea. So now I was like, well, can I afford somebody to come and do makeup so I can be Voldemort? Nothing would make me happier to just walk in as Voldemort to somebody else's wedding and sit away from everyone else. Does anyone object? And then slowly stand up. And then just sit back down.
Oh my god, that's so great.
This isn't my water.
Well, that is your water, actually.
Hell yeah. It's off my water. Get us mine now.
It's a new goal. It's a new goal in life to have a Harry Potter wedding.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Athena was going to be with you, so we always carry extras.
I was going to say she's off doing.
We don't pay for this.
Yeah. we don't have enough money to do this.
She's like,
do that.
come on.
Yeah.
Come on now. One time I tried to take her out on a date, and I had to like, come on. I had to give the agent 10%. I think this is wrong. This is somehow illegal.
We live in the same house. Why?
Well, I mean, I get the top floor.
You and the cats?
Oh no, I'm not allowed to touch the cats unless it's a weekday. You know, I gotta feed them. But
Speaking of which, Greg asks, how does it feel to have married someone who's gone as far as she has in wrestling?
I would like to tell her that she is welcome for all the ideas, all the characters, and everything that I have given her. And no, it feels great.
Right.
It feels great. And I have learned throughout the years that this marriage is different than a lot of others because not a lot of people can tell the Miami Herald, yeah, I met my wife by drop kicking her in the face. And it's like, that's a normal thing. First of all, I just want to point out, she drop kicked me first. The drill.
It was a receipt, okay?
Okay, insider terms. Come on, kayfabe.
Yeah, keep it kayfabe, man. You keep yelling at me.
You gotta pay some old timer $3,000 and fall down a lot before you're allowed to mention that. No, like we had it's called a give one take one spot. Or a drill, and so it's like she gave me 3 moves in a particular order, and then I gave her those moves back. I don't think I had any matches yet, or I only had like a handful, and she was like a year ahead of me, so she's already been out there. Well, her big mistake was throwing a drop kick. Little known fact, guys.
There's one thing I can do.
If there is one thing I can do, and I can do to, all right, calm down now, I'm going to use it. Shoot on somebody. It's a drop kick. I don't care if you're Bane, Bailey, Colossus, Kevin Cross, or Hornswoggle. I'm gonna get you in the face. If it's one thing I have, you can ask Kirby, is I got hops. When I fall down, it looks awkward. Looks like an old man falling down, but damn it, when I get up there, it looks great. And so poor Athena throws that drop kick and... My turn, Daddy-O. Bam! Through the face. Just like she did to me. We get up, and she's just... and like I'm just like, okay, thank you. All right, that's nice, thank you, everything. Don't you hate it that like I'm the same height standing up with you? And so like she's ready to kick my ass. Lance Hoyt's laughing his ass off because like he's looking at Sam Wise and Mary and Pippin all getting into a fight. You know what I mean? So.
That takes my old joke about Livy and Angel just a whole new level. Used to call them angry hobbits.
Oh my god! I saw Livy the other night. I was like, "Hey, what's up? I haven't seen you in like a decade. What's going on?" All right, what do we got here?
Let's see. Do you like having the championships or chasing them?
I don't give a shit. I mean, you have to look from my perspective. To me, that's the same as Robert Downey Jr. going, "You want the Infinity Stones or not?" It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm doing the role that somebody wrote.
It's about the story. How's the story?
It's the story. Yeah. Can I get something out of it? At the bare minimum, it's like, okay, there's no story to this match. We just need you and Barrett Brown to go have a killer match. And I was like, okay, well, what is the self-contained story of the match that interests me? Because I can go and... Wrestling match is nothing but a bunch of running and burpees. You know what I mean? And then doing a bunch of sit-ups. Right. So you're exhausted. So it's one of those things like, can I make this a cool workout where I'm enjoying myself? Or can we throw in a little story and character?
I was going to say, I feel case in point, the triple threat last week.
Yeah.
Not necessarily anything that really means anything as far as grand scheme of things, but you have the Monster Hunter versus a Cannibal versus a Vampire. You have at least a little something there to work with. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could you, like, if there ever was a moment to where there's a follow that when you go backstage, like, follow that. Mm-hmm. I followed a cannibal and a vampire. What do you got? Oh, a hardcore match? I nearly got eaten by two different dudes.
You did get bit.
I got bit by everyone in that match. I'm pretty sure Travis slid in. But 1, 2.
And the potion spilled, and every three of you go, oh, fuck.
I looked at it, and I was like, well, we should stay away from this corner. And then we proceeded to do 2 spots from the same corner. By the end of the night, I was like, you know who's pretty stupid?
You kind of went into it, but would you go in more in depth about what your favorite match is?
Green Ant. Okay, I don't have anything in particular.
I was going to say, give us at least a 5-minute match. 5 or more.
There aren't a lot of matches that you could see like readily available. Man, I'm really indie. But like, there's a match on YouTube with me and Masada. It's a scaffold match from Anarchy Championship Wrestling. That match meant a lot to me. That's the match where I got my trainer / tag partner Robert Evans to cry just by watching it. And I was like, I mean, that's a brag. That's a brag. I made a pro wrestler cry watching me wrestle, and he wasn't upset. You know what I mean? It's like, normally it's like, you're breaking kayfabe.
I was going to say, tears of joy, not tear of, why the fuck did you do that?
Would you
so sell?
That was a fun one. I have had a trilogy of, I've had a million matches with ACH. And he's carried me through every one of them. I appreciate all of them. I've had a few good bangers with Steve Areno. I think that's online. It's like a street fight. Yeah. That one was fun. I took like a Blue Thunder Bomb onto cinder blocks and kicked out. Wow. And people were like, you're ruining the business. It's like, bitch, I actually took a power bomb on cinder blocks. I'm tough as shit. Fuck you. It's just like,
I can do what I want.
Killing the business. Kiss my ass.
Killing myself for the business. How about that?
Yeah. That was fun. There's a ton. Like anytime I can wrestle Greg James, which tomorrow night at Reality of Wrestling, I am gonna be at the tapings wrestling Greg James. Nice. Gonna kill it, of course. Probably gonna suplex him to the outside and just see what happens.
You doing the whole Monster Hunter thing still?
Oh,
there?
Of course.
Okay, good.
Of course, they don't want the male model. Too much white in the beard. Some of that's not makeup anymore.
I was actually kind of curious how many people are okay with the Monster Hunter thing, because I know. I think it's next month you're doing a Revolver, and they actually said Monster Hunter. I'm like, oh, cool. They're embracing it. Awesome.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to go anywhere else and it's going to be a different character. That'd just be career sabotage, really. Right. But, like, I'm Revolver's first champion.
Yep.
First, fourth, and greatest champion. I won the title. Listen to this. I had to qualify for a 4-way match later that night for the belt. I wrestled Jessica Havoc. I did one move to Jessica Havoc.
It survived.
I gave her a chop that I bumped on. Proceeded to get my ass handed to me for about 8 minutes. Till eventually we did the Eddie Guerrero spot where the referee's back would turn. I threw the chair at her and was passed out. DQ'd her. Then, as a rib, my buddy Sammy Callahan decides to send Jessica out about 10 or 11 times to chokeslam me. Music would play, she'd walk out, chokeslam me, and she'd leave. And as the guys would start picking me up to carry me out, her music would play, she'd chokeslam me and leave. I'm not lying to you.
I believe
did it 10 times, to where at one of those times she did it, and she was like giggling. She's like, I'm so sorry, Matt. And I knew that fucker Sammy was just laughing his ass off backstage, and I'm like, whatever, man. And so he did it. Eventually, one time they sent her out, and I just rolled out of the ring. I think I was like, no, I'm done. So
no more.
I ain't find me. I'm done.
So we did that, and I had the beard and everything. We did that, and then I went quickly backstage, shaved my beard off, and then told the referee to give me his pants, which he then did, and I found a referee jacket. So in the main event, it was announced that I couldn't be there because I was injured from Jessica Havoc's inhumane treatment of me. And so what we did is the referee got bumped to the outside of the ring. The hero lays out the guy, and he rolls the referee in. He's got 1, 2. My stupid face pops up, kicks him in the back of the head. I cover him. My heel manager rolls in the real referee. 1, 2, 3. I won a title by doing 2 moves. One of them I bumped on. And then we proceeded to have all these title matches to where I just got the crap kicked out of me. I got beat up by a tent. That's right. An inanimate object beat my ass. I got beat up by a Boy Scout. I got beat up by everyone.
But did you do it before Kenny Omega and the Broom?
Oh, no. I think Kenny Omega and the Broom did that before.
Kenny Omega and Kenny Omega and the Dolls before, but yeah, I remember
I
those.
couldn't. I can't Canadian Destroyer a doll or a broom if anyone's asking. It's been done. Don't need to do it.
Yeah.
What else we got?
What's your favorite D&D character? You had to ask him an even harder question than favorite match.
I have a scion named Victor Stillnight, which I love because I was playing him, he was like really happy, just like, oh, let's go and investigate stuff. By the time I got to like level 20, I started being like, what's the point of existence? Let's start dabbling and recreating humanity, things like that. I was obviously the hero of the story. With those questions. That one was fun. Emile de Catone. He's my Puss in Boots character. He's just my really bad impersonation of Antonio Banderas from Puss in Boots. He's my ranger character, and he has a whole lineage and dynasty of other characters. They're all Del Captones of some sort. They're great. Their one I'm doing is Victorina's Goldbreath. He's a southern dandy necromancer. You know the famous Goldbreaths, right? I mean, my mama, dearly departed mama, if she was here today, she would see the well-dressed necromancer fulfilling everyone's armor needs with undead skeletons. Yeah, that's basically all my character does is I go around and like, there's always like some mission where like, we need more men. It's like, you know what would be great? Recycling. It's just like, they're like, that's evil. It's like, what's evil about you're going in the battle to save the livelihood of your town and you're looking next to your fallen brothers? To me, that sounds honorable and amazing to go into that to defend your family and loved ones side by side with your kin that's passed from generations prior. Is that evil? No.
Actually sold me on that. No, that's not evil at all.
Exactly.
There is a possible way to do necromancy and not be evil, yeah.
So wait, you're saying Sam Raimi and Evil Dead lied to me?
Okay, that book is different.
$20 says I miss. Now you guys owe me $20. It's the indie wrestling life.
The check's in the mail.
Oh, thank God. This is peace.
Because that was the greatest thing ever.
What do we got?
Go ahead and read the next question because it's the greatest thing ever.
What is it?
What is your favorite moment?
No, that's not
which
it.
one?
Read on the
that
thing.
Crap.
because it was the greatest thing
On May
ever.
16th, 2015, why did you immediately kick Houston Carson with the super kick?
Very first time I ever saw you. Loved it.
I did it because Richard Hill requested it every night. So what happened is we were doing an angle where I was chasing Jerome Daniels in the trust fund, J.D. Griffey now, for the title, and I was about to win it, and we wanted to do a really cool falsie. And so he comes off with his disaster kick. Boom. I take the bump, but I take it high enough on the shoulders where my legs are in the air, and I just nip up right after and super kick him. Just fall on top of him. 1-2 kick out. Place is going crazy. We're begging for air because it's one of those 30-minute matches where they're saying, hey, no worked holds, don't rest. I was like, fuck you. And so like we did like double downs and those falsies, but we couldn't match
Richard
the height.
Actually like you or hate you?
I think anyone he likes, he's gonna make them just like bleed for me. Bleed for me, and also the crowd's a little light, brother. I don't know. I'm kidding.
Is that how his D&D campaigns are too?
No. The D&D campaigns are always like, Matt, I hope you're playing this kind of character because they need it. And I'm like, nah. I am not going to be Luke Skywalker tonight. I'm not going to be the hero. I want to be an accessory character on the sidelines. Like, no, you can't have Athena lead again. I was like, sorry. That's the way it works.
It's in her contract.
She likes chaos. Why am I going to fight with her? So yeah, that's why the super kick came about, because Richard Hill loved it so much. It's like, that's your thing. It's like, oh, that's a great sell to everybody that comes in. Hey, hit me with your shit. I'm gonna no-sell it. Let's ignore the fact that I look like an anorexic Zoolander. And I'm gonna nip up and super kick you and pin you. You know, a super kick, the new clothesline. It's in every match at least twice.
So, me being the huge Shawn Michaels mark I am.
Oh, yeah.
That's my first show at MPX. 3 of my friends are with me. They're all huge Steve Austin fans. Carson does the stunner. You nip up, super kick, 1, 2, 3. I'm the only one, as you can tell, I'm the only one like, yes, that's amazing. That is my champion. All of them are like, what the fuck was that bullshit?
The fuck was that? If that guy was bald, if he was bald and hated his boss, he would have won.
Yeah. Immediately loved it, and then after that, tried to YouTube everything I could find about Matthew Palmer. I'm like, nope. That's my guy. That's fucking awesome.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm glad you liked it. It sounds like the other 3 people didn't come back.
Oh, no, they did not like it. They came back.
Oh,
but
good.
Yeah, no, they didn't like that finish.
Yeah. Babyface champions don't last but a couple months anyway.
Then you did the centerfold dive the next week, and you sold them on that. So
I wish my fat ass can get over that top. Can you imagine having to bust out the centerfold dive with this place? The entire roof would fall.
You don't think you could
Again.
do it just right?
No, I already have to make a small little prayer before I hit the ropes to jump over. I'm 36 years old doing this for 16 years. At some point, jumping high in the air and landing on my elbows and knees for frog splashes is going to come back and haunt me. And so it's the top rope dive that suffers. I can do it just fine. Don't ask me to do it 4 nights a week. You're going to get it on Saturdays if the crowd's great. You're not going to get it on a Wednesday night in front of 50 people. Sorry. Gotta save them.
I gotta work the next 3 nights, all right?
Right, yeah. That's why I tell guys, like, stop chopping me so dead. First of all, learn how to chop. Like, why is this the one real move in wrestling? And I gotta take photos. Like, you know what sucks being a male model character? Is having to show up the next night and you got like every asshole's handprint on you. And the only thing that they got out of it, like no one cheered for them. They cheered for Ric Flair, who's in 20 states away and retired. So I get chopped. I'm the one bleeding from their like needle-like fingers, chopping me in the chest, splitting me open, and I hear some fan go, "Woo!" And I was like, "Oh, fantastic! I will pay that photographer that money for those promo pics tomorrow. Now, thanks." Anyway, let's go on.
So, what's your favorite moment from your feud with Malico?
Oh, the end. No. I had that one in the chamber for whatever you ask. My favorite moment was when we went to what is it? The Mad World. We went to the Mad World, which looks a lot like a lake in Oklahoma with a blue filter. Yeah. It's crazy. But we went out there and we filmed a bunch of stuff in like abandoned schools, which is already a haunting thought. So it's like, yeah, this was a school a year ago. I was like, what happened?
But you're the monster hunter, so it's okay with it.
Yeah,
you're okay with it.
I drowned him in the lake, and he played. We do a spot where I'm drowning him in a lake. I pull him out. I think I say something like, in an attempt to be cool with this voice and mannerism, of course, is not going to come off well. And then I drown him some more, and then I just walk off to the beach as AC/DC plays. And you just see Malico floating face down behind me, just kind of like getting lost in the current. And then it cuts, and he's like, and he has to like swim back. I'm like, come on, buddy, I'll help you. Those were a lot of fun. The in-ring stuff was fine. I mean, it was fine. That was fun. The most fun we had was just going to those places and bullshitting. We did something where we were in like, it wasn't a bomb shelter, but I want to say it's a bomb shelter because who builds a little room underground that only seats one person and the only thing in there is a chair? I'm like,
Oklahoma underground tornado shelter.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so like, okay, it's a tornado shelter. Thank you for clarifying.
Right,
that.
Bomb shelter, tornado shelter, same thing.
Like, this is miserable. It's like a little cocoon that you're kind of in here. We did something where I had to scream at the top of my lungs while wearing this mask. And it was like, hey, do your best. And I did it. And the guy that we were using this facility, just like, Jesus Christ. Like you were getting murdered in there. I was like, well, it is a little hot.
Was a lot of that you and Malico, or did y'all have someone else kind of helping with that?
Oh, that was Malico and I. That was like, that was half the fun, or that is half the fun with the Monster Hunter thing, is that we can come up with something silly, but like there's always these guys like Aaron Eagle came up with something. It's like, hey, I got an idea for this. We can do it with this person. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. I got Sawyer up north going like, hey, we can do something with this. So because the Monster Hunter gets to wrestle with all the monsters.
Right.
My job to me is to get those guys who are just Hardakis. Mm-hmm. What's Hardakis' character?
Demon.
He's demon. So he's demon.
You remember who we're having next week, right?
Remember, he's not on camera. He doesn't care.
Okay. So it's Hardakis' character is not explained.
Right.
No one goes up and goes, what's this guy's character if he's just a regular... What's Roman Reigns' character? You're just going to spout out some moniker to me.
Badass.
Oh, he's the head of the table. Oh, he's the big dog. No, those are monikers. Right. Those are advertising blips. What is his character? Yeah. And so if you can have a character that is going to chase down these guys, I can be like, what's your natural habitat as this character?
So to use like the big fat, like Tommy, or what the fuck is his name? Malachi Black.
Yeah.
Aleister Black at the time, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean like what he is right now. Like he's just a guy who likes the occult. Yeah. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would be like, no, he's...
I'm the one... I try to use my character as a catalyst to help explain theirs.
Yeah.
My stuff is like Malico. I went to his fucking Freddy Krueger land. You know what I mean? I went to... Jason Silver's going to be hanging out in a graveyard or in a blood bank or something like that. So these guys, you only see them in the ring, which is kind of silly that these guys large. I'm a demon. What are you doing? Wrestling. It's like, okay. So like, if you can like kind of like find where they go behind the scenes, where it makes sense for their character, and we can build up that kind of stuff. They get to cut promos, and they don't get to just wrestle, underdog hero. They're wrestling someone somewhat in their genre.
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, what do you want to do? Because I don't have to worry about it doesn't make sense. You're small. I know. It's like, it makes sense now because I'm drinking some sort of weird MacGuffin potion and whatever I need right there, and that could be a part of the story.
God, your match with Prince Adam, that was hilarious.
What would that match be without that spot? It would just be, hey, these two are cruiserweights. Go out there and flip and, kill your joints and... Thank you. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, Prince Adam's more at the end like, oh, thank you for this.
Right, and then it becomes, well, here's a character moment that we can get out of it. That's like I said earlier, like it's a self-contained story. We weren't going anywhere with it. Right. What can we do? Well, I can drink a potion and I can do stuff. Or you can drink my potion and get every fucking move that you've always wanted to do that no one else is going to, like, base for a body slam, let him do the Undertaker's comeback for me, do a choke slam. But I am, and I was like, hell yeah, let's find a reason to do it. Let's have some fun. Like, you go to this job and you can't even enjoy it because there's some asshole who's juiced out of his mind backstage, who's 45 years old and 6'3", not wanting to put over the new people. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm tired of dealing with that stuff, so I want to make a character that can work around it and have fun and help these guys enjoy their time at work.
Which, kind of going into that, because I know you worked with him, and it's kind of become a whole Twitter thing right now with Alexander Crowley. And everyone's like, oh, he's a ripoff of Malachi Black.
Sure.
It's like a whole thing. What was your experience like working with him, and how do you view...
He was a ripoff of Malachi Black.
Yeah.
That was the first time I experienced it, and it was okay because he's like a year in.
Yeah.
And every wrestler has a baseline,
right?
And it's usually like, I love Chris Benoit, love Bret Hart, but I'm not gonna be able to do their movesets. But you know whose moveset I can start off with? Is Chris Jericho's.
Yeah.
So I was like, Vic Jericho is technical, high flyer, a little bit of everything, also on the smaller side. That's who I designed my character after before I started coming into my own. He has all these tattoos. By the look of them, as the son of a tattoo artist, they're older than how long he's been wrestling. So he already has that.
Yeah.
What are you gonna be? You gonna be white meat babyface? You're gonna go in there and Ricky Steamboat me? You know what I mean? He already looks like the guy. You might as well cash in on it because there's obviously a lot of people who like that dark, gothic, occult kind of stuff.
Right.
He already looks like it. He's going with it. I think he needs to change his movesets a bit to get away from it, and he will eventually. It comes with time. He's not on TV. He has a local indie show that some guy took his phone and he got 10 minutes of fame by retweeting. To me, it's the same level of going to a nightclub or a comedy club and filming somebody saying a joke. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Look at this hack. Look at this crap. It's like, dude, at the show, it's a self-contained world. Yeah. You're taking it out of context when you do that. It's like, what is Hardakis? Kane. Who am I? I don't know. But like I said earlier, Richard Hill wanted to be with Shawn Michaels. Yeah. And so, like, you have your archetypes as you do for any storytelling device. You have your archetypes. And so that doesn't change for wrestling. And so some guys are going to remind you a lot of other dudes. I hate to tell you this, most of the guys that you love just ripped off some has-been or some guy who never made it.
Right.
I couldn't tell you how many times I've rubbed shoulders with people who are somewhat famous on the wrestling level, and I watched them steal somebody's shtick that did it first. And it's like, well, I'm on TV. Screw them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's and not so much now, but watching Kevin Steen in ROH. Yeah. You could tell he loved Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart because that's like all he did. He did super kicks. He did sharpshooters. He was very technical.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, oh, he loved those two because obviously, if you look at his age and when he grew up, that's what he likes. Yeah. So yeah, when I saw that, and I retweeted it. And I didn't realize it was more of a critique. I was like, hey, I know that guy. He's local. Cool. And then I saw all the critiques. I go, oh, wait.
He should ride that thing into the ground.
Well, and that's the thing. I was sitting there. I was like,
you don't like it? Who cares?
Yeah.
There's 8 billion people in the world. You're going to please everyone?
And I think I love how I saw more, at least independent wrestlers, positively being go to. He's like, he has better snaps, duplexes, and better kicks than a lot of indie people. What the fuck are y'all talking about? Because he is good.
Yeah.
Like, and that was the thing I even commented, like Matt Luck did it. And I commented and I go, I like him. I've only seen him once. I want to see more. I do get the criticism, but he's still very solid.
You change a couple of moves around and you're fine.
Yeah.
But he has presentation.
Exactly.
I couldn't tell you how many I couldn't tell you how many 10-year wrestlers I get who don't want to invest in the presentation of their character.
Yeah.
They just want to go out there, hit every move that they just learned that's death-defying video game move. Yeah. But once again, they don't want to cut a promo. They don't want to walk out in like cool, expensive attire. They don't want to buy their own lights. They don't want to buy a fog machine that they travel with. Yeah. Like it's you're an independent contractor. You have to get your presentation, and this dude does it.
Right, and I think that was because it was the one match I saw him in was you versus you.
Yeah.
And it was the thing where I was like, okay, this guy's got a cool look. He actually is endorsing the character. He sells it. Yeah, it's a little like Tommy Yen, but okay, whatever. Let's see how he works. And he worked good. I thought. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, he reminds me a lot of him, but it's still solid.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the same thing. Because I'd never heard of him. I was like, oh, maybe a couple of years he'll change and he'll adapt.
Everyone usually does.
Yeah.
Or he's going to be the coolest Aleister Black, Malachi Black impersonator ever. And I hope he gets it. He's a cool dude. He's a nice guy. His wife's really cool and nice, too. I hope they make a ton of money.
Greg asked, do you prefer leading a match or being led in a match?
That depends on who I'm with. It really does. Because, like, there's times when I've had to wrestle veterans who they're going to do the entire match. And usually what that entails is they're tired, they don't want to do it, they want to get through their shtick and fuck you. And then there's guys that, like, they're a couple years in and you got to, like, hold them by the hand and, like, literally not scream, but I'm yelling at them like a ventriloquist trying to hide me talking.
Well, and I think
work the crowd, look at the audience, please.
Well, and I think one of those, and
breathe.
I liked it because I thought it was going to a story and they kind of just dropped, but it was you and Red. Like one of the first times you were against Red, it looks like it was.
Yeah, that was real.
Actually, that makes it really cool. Actually,
no, I'm kidding. That was one of those moments where the work turned into a shoot. Not on my part. Apparently, I nailed the acting.
Yeah.
And so, for those of you that don't remember, I was wrestling Red Chambers, and he was like his rookie year, and he's babyface versus me, the like babyface, vague veteran. You know what I mean? And the idea is that I'm going to, come on, Red, hit me. Let's fight. Let's do something. You know? And I'd beat his ass, and eventually he was gonna start beating my ass.
Yeah.
The problem was, poor Red's already nervous. He's new. We've been working on stuff and training, because I'm here almost every Wednesday training. We were working over strikes, which is always a difficult thing to do for new wrestlers, strikes without actually, just knocking my chin off my head. And so, like, that was a very pivotal part of the match, and I think he choked on it. I think he thought I was really getting angry. And I wasn't. I was just playing a character. Right. And I think that's just what happened. Yeah. Now he beats the crap out of me in training. Now he's great. Now he's starting to get his stride going, like, oh, we're in this together. Oh, okay, it's theater and around. Oh, I'm an actor up here. Oh, okay, awesome. I'm a part of this.
God. Yeah, no, when I finally started explaining to people, it's like wrestling is live combat theater, they're suddenly like, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
I just want, anytime somebody's like, wrestling's fake, wrestling's silly, it's like, do a burpee. Just show me your burpee. Because you know what a drop down is? That thing that you don't even think about when somebody runs over? It's a fucking burpee. I mean, I have to do every night when I wrestle somebody under 170 pounds. I am exhausted.
So that's why you're the monster hunter. You try to fight monsters, so you don't have to do that.
I choke slam me from 15 feet in the air. Anything to get away from a leapfrog, drop down, drop kick. I'm so tired. It's hot. There's no AC in there for us either.
So we're not going to see you leapfrog Hardacus and drop kick him? No?
I bet I could. I
was going to say, it's like, you absolutely could.
I could. You know, we brought up the Hardacus thing a few times. I loved working with Hardacus. He was a different character way back in the day. Yeah. And I remember before Athena and I got together, he, as that character, was in a battle royal with her, and he pressed her, and he's supposed to throw her onto somebody else. But the way the stage was set up at PCW is the ring was really high in the air. And then it was like an additional 3-foot drop. And the person that was supposed to catch Athena went to the back. They got eliminated and forgot the spot and they left. And so he's like, sorry. And just, whoops. You know what I mean? It's like, wrestling, what are you going to do? So it's my turn. I don't know, 10 years later, 15 years later, however it is. And it's like, hey, we're going to do these spots. And the entire time in my head going, if she's watching this, she would lose her shit if I just got pressed over and just dropped. Like, just splats on the little mat right here. I don't think we did it. I think we did something else. But yeah, I had a blast wrestling with Hardacus and Isaac Mazer. I had an awesome time.
We had the question of how far have you traveled for wrestling?
I've been to 40-something states. I've traveled. I haven't gone out of country. Never had a passport. Have no desire to go to Mexico. None. I've had too many horror stories heard from people who've had guns held to their heads and nearly assaulted in every variety. Male and female, I have no interest. It's like, thanks, I'm good. Canada, it's cold. It's cold. No, Canada.
But
Canada
it's
would.
Bret Hart.
Right, yeah, you can keep that. So I'm slowly turning into a Shawn Michaels guy because Texas, it's warm. No. I just happened to not go to Canada,
Right.
and I remember after so many years, I had to be like, I'm not gonna accept any northern bookings in the fall or winter, because what happens is I make a little money, I go there, I get snowed in, I lose what little bit of money I had paying for hotel rooms or sleeping at the airport for 2 days to save the $100 I made or whatever. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to go to Maine.
I was going to say,
get snowed in 2 days before Christmas.
So that's the beyond bookings. You're like, nah, not unless it's summer.
Right. What else you got?
Work north in the summer, south in the winter. Yeah, but it makes
Yeah,
sense.
I'm a bird. I'm a bird. That's my next gimmick. The Falcon,
I was
Matthew
going
Paul.
to say, it's just like the It's Always Sunny in Philly.
There you go.
What fictional character would you most want to have a match with or tag with? Chris Fulmer.
George Hackenschmidt. No, fictional character I want to wrestle or have a tag match with. Shit. Okay. Let's say Freddy Krueger, because I feel like the promo work would be awesome. And then have a tag match with Jack Sparrow.
Nice.
Obviously Jack Sparrow, because that's essentially who that I do. And I was like,
I was going to say,
is that part of the inspiration?
yeah, it was like, what do I do with my hands? I know. I'll drink rum before I wrestle. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
there would be no eyeliner in any of the stores nearby the promotion.
I've already run through so much. It's ridiculous.
Your favorite REO Speedwagon song? Tony, why?
It's Tony.
I was gonna say that has to be an inside thing.
What's the one? Take it on the run, baby. Take it on the run, baby. And I don't know the rest. That one. There was a time about 2 years ago. I was planning on coming out to an REO Speedwagon song. Had no reason to, other than I wanted people to listen, going, just like, but I think it was that one.
Since you did touch on
'Cause I don't want you around. That's it. That's the part.
So because you did touch on a little bit, how did you pick at your entrance musics? Because like I said, the Centerfold, I mean, okay, obvious.
Jake
but
Giles
it
Band.
was,
And of course,
it was cool. The Anarchist.
Wayward Son made
and then
perfect
Wayward
sense for
Son
the
Monster
original.
Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, the Monster Hunter, the original concept was me wanting to look like John McClane. I wanted to look like I already got into a shootout or a hostage negotiation before I ever got to work. And we were going to start filming promos where, like, I was hiding behind a car. And we wouldn't show the gun, but I was obviously, like, holstered or something like that. And the interviewer were like, Matt Palmer, tell us about your match with Hardakis. And we're, like, ducking bullets. And we're like, well, I got to tell you. And then, like, the guy would just get shot. I was like, oh, you caught one there. Anyway, at the MPX Arena this Saturday night, oh, shit. It's just like, that was the original idea.
Fun.
And it never got off the ground. But because of the look, we were like, let's go Wayward Son.
Yeah.
That was like, I think that was a Richard Hill call. And I didn't like it because it was too much like Supernatural.
Yeah, and I was going to say, that's what I felt with the whole, tank top and everything. I was like, oh, it's Supernatural. He just got done fighting a demon or a vampire or whatever.
Right.
That's what it looks like it came out of.
Yeah. I tried to blend another character I wanted to do called Johnny Spaceballs, which is just every stupid 80s action thing ever. Wow. And then I just wanted the name Spaceballs to be my last name. Obviously, I was smoking weed. I think that was fairly obvious of like how I came up with that character. Sorry, everyone. That might be a sore subject to mention. But so Jay Giles Band for Centerfold. I came up when I did Son of Anarchy, which later became The Anarchist. It was In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins.
Yeah.
And right at the drum beat, I was waiting 3 minutes and 34 seconds, which somebody tried to do one time. I was like, please no, just skip ahead. I am not sitting back here for 3 minutes waiting for him to go.
I was going to say, well, that definitely wasn't Richard because he fucking hates long entrances. We heard that shit.
He would have picked me up like a cat off the back of my neck and thrown me to the ring. Do you remember? Get out there! And then this with the Who version with the lead singer from Papa Roach, Jacoby something, I can't remember his name. That Wolf Totem is what I listen to now, and I discovered that one by playing what is it, Fallen Order, Star Wars Fallen Order, and I was like, this is an interesting song. And then I got into the deeper Mongolian throat part, and I was like, this sounds like something you could use at a show that no one has quite heard of, but has a little. Yeah,
it's like I think Barrett Brown at one point used one of their songs.
He did.
Yeah,
but
it was the drum beat, and then it went into something else. But I remember the drum beat with Barrett. Yeah.
But that throat chanting is like you can use that for some sort of occultish kind of thing, right? I mean, it's not quite the same, but you can try using it.
Do you? So, because you kind of talked about it a little bit, when you hear or when you play video games or movies or when you hear music, is that kind of what triggers you a little bit? You're like, oh, that would be great if someone did this, or if someone used that, or oh, that'd be really cool.
Sometimes, a lot of times, guys will just say, hey, I want to do this idea, and I'm just like, okay, how can you make this entertaining? I come from a theater background. I was a stage actor before I became a wrestler.
That's actually one of the next questions.
Oh, yeah. I was a stage actor before I became a wrestler for a handful of years. Just traveling, doing as low budget theater as I could, trying to get like my cards and all my certification, in sleeping in the back of old beat up Ryder moving vans with like the Luan I made into like a little what do you call it, the thing that you tie to two like palm trees and sit
hammock
in? Yeah, thank you. Hammock on a Luan. I got hit in the head a lot. So like and
it's the name of the show, right?
Hit in the head a lot? Oh my god. I need to do that. The Matt Palmer story. Hit in the head a lot. The beginning. I wanted to be a wrestler. The end. I died. I forgot the middle. Anyway, I forgot the question I was rambling on about.
You were talking about it started out with REO Speedwagon, but you were talking about being in
Jesus, that was like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was.
I had a whole
talking
wrestling
about,
match in between there.
Like when you play like video
my
games
ideas,
and
my
hear music
ideas.
and stuff. Yeah.
Sometimes I take inspiration from music, but it's not quite. It never works with the lyrics of the song. It's the tones and the way that you can put them against the backdrop of a scene or wrestling that doesn't go with it. Like I wanted to do something with I Need a Hero when I was returning to Revolver because I was the number one bad guy. And Killer Cross became the bad guy. I disappeared and the song plays and who comes out? Fucking Loki. You know what I mean? Like, obviously the sniveling chicken shit heel is back as the hero, and it shouldn't be lost upon that this guy's only here to get his own adulation. He's the narcissist. He's not a hero, he's just available. You know what I mean? And like that's the way I like using that kind of stuff. And like right now I'm trying to work out new entrance music rather than the Who, because I feel like while the Who is fun, the character needs to be a little bit more lighthearted when you hear the music, and then have a little turn at some point in the middle of the presentation, like when you walk out or something. I fiddled with some candles one time and some fog machines and other stuff. Didn't work because they all set them up wrong. I was like, what are you gonna do? But I'm gonna re-toy that around and try some new music with that.
So, would you say the character kind of comes first and the music later, or like how? Like,
the
character.
The character comes
Monster
first.
Hunter. Monster Hunter was first. You got that down. You're like, okay, what is a cool entrance music to work with this?
Well, absolutely. The character always has to come first because I couldn't tell you how many times I've gone to shows and guys have the same Disturbed song or System of a Down. Obviously, I'm dating myself how long I've been wrestling, but like you'll get guys that have the same entrance music. I was like, well, you can't use that. That's Candice LeRae's music. You can't use that. That's Gargano's music or whatever. And then it's like, okay, nobody's gone up to me. No one's gone up to me and said, you can't use that. That's someone else's character. Yeah. It's like, no one's done this ever.
Well, and we even talked about it last week, talking about Wes, is how he has the same music, but there's been certain places he's had to change it. But the thing I like about Wes is he knows his music. He goes to the beat of it, with the hammer, with the dances, with the entrance. Everything he does, no matter what music he knows, he works with it, and that's one of the things I think when I first saw him, it was a PWR scramble. You were in it. That was the first thing. Like Wes came out, and I go,
Scramble champ.
yeah, it was.
I remember I carried that division. Carried it by getting my ass kicked, not doing a single move. Carried it.
But that was, he came out, and I go, holy shit, it's Entric Mason. I hope he's amazing in the ring. And then he was. I was like, holy shit, you have become one of my favorites. God damn.
I remember the first time I saw him, is like, he's got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe and blood. And I was like, why are you so sensual? It's like, why are you gyrating to the beat, to the
Like, he comes out and it's like, oh, you've been a male stripper before. You've had to have been. Like, what the fuck?
Like, what's with the body rolls, brother? I thought we were going to work a little bit. Like, what are we doing?
It's like the antithesis of the centerfold there.
Which, I mean, and that was another thing we even talked about yesterday is kudos. I was shocked that you were able to do his thing. I didn't know.
Why?
I'm
in better shape than you. I tried to make it look silly, and like he even tried to give me shit. It's like, dude, I'm not gonna go out there and do your shtick better than you. I'm gonna make it look silly. I dress like I'm 104 years old. Like,
it's one of those. I know it takes a shitload of core, and it wreaks havoc on the knees. No, I know you have a great core, but I also
I got shit knees.
It's not that shit knees. I know you have bad knees because of how many years you've been doing it.
I over-exaggerate. It's not that bad. I over-exaggerate just playing around, but I'm not decrepit. I'm not dying. But like I did it, and he was like, "How's your knee?" I was like, "Fuck you." I'm about to do a dive with silver on my back. Like, I'm gonna be fine. He's fun.
Which is funny because he even pointed out. I was doing the same. I was like, "Oh, how's his knees?"
I'm gonna stop joking about it. Everyone thinks it's real. I remember at one point Griffey kept going around going, man, Palmer, that dude's a stud. He's got some degenerative bone disease. And I go, what are you talking about? Stop telling people this. I am not sick at all. Like, what are you talking about? So he's like a hero, dude. It's like, no, you're giving me great books. They think I'm gonna get injured any moment. Is this why I haven't been at work for like 3 months? Like, what's going on? Stop talking to people. Put me over.
God, that sounds like some Joe would do. Be like, no, he's injured. Don't look at him.
Like, when I told him, he was like, dude, I thought you had, like, no! What are you talking about?
Well, there's also the fact that he's like, sometimes you make jokes and people think you're serious, like when you were constantly retiring.
Oh my God, dude. Well, I was dying at one point, like in real life. And so I had to go and get healthy. And it was one of those things, it's like, hey, I'm not retiring. My hope is to live. Like, I'm not like, oh, sorry, thanks for the memories. Leave the memories alone. Leave the boots in the ring. It's like, I'm trying not to literally leave the boots on Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to, like, get healthy. And it was just a freak thing I had to go and take care of. And then all of a sudden it was like, Palmer's retiring. Palmer's doing this. Palmer's stepping away because he wants to come back. Because if he doesn't stop, you guys are going to have to carry me out of the ring, take me to Maliko's Mad World, and throw me in the river and say, sayonara, Centerfold. Nah, 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 nah.
It's not like the Lazarus Pit. You just rise out of it.
No, the waters in Oklahoma are not very good for it,
I was going to say, they're the anti-Lazarus Pit. They're just dead.
But that is one thing, because it's kind of going to that era, is it was a rumor. Of course, you never believe anything online. There was a rumor when Athena had got signed that was like, oh, Palmer tried out to be a ref at NXT.
Shit, I wish.
I was going to say, was
awesome.
there any truth to that at all?
No, I never got any tryouts. Nobody looked at me. Robbie Brookside. Awesome. I love Robbie Brookside. I don't know if you guys have seen him, but please look up Robbie Brookside. He is a mentor to Athena, and in a way a mentor to me. He was helping me get some looks later on. It's like, hey, here's some stuff with your work. Maybe we can present you in front of everyone for like a tryout. And then they came down with that edict of like, everyone's got to be, 25 or younger. And I was like, well,
bye.
So long on that one, brother. But like, that's as close as I ever got to anything. I never tried out for a ref. They just assume like, I guess they just assume that families go together. Like, did her brother get a tryout? Did her niece get a tryout? You know what I'm talking about? Like, so it's like, that's just silly stuff. Yeah. I guess I should take it as a compliment of guys like, oh, he's good enough to be a referee. Which, thank you. I do think I'm good.
That's
enough
a hard job.
It is a hard job.
It's a very hard job, but I think part of me I think that's what I get mad about reading dirt sheets when it involves you, is because it's always, Athena's husband, and I get that's an accolade.
I mean, whatever.
But it's like one of those where it's like, no, this guy's great. This guy's good. Like it was when y'all tagged at the MPX for the World. Like, oh, Athena returned with her husband at some local promotion. I'm like, his name's Matthew Palmer, and it was MPX. Like, granted, I know I'm biased, but I was like, guys, like,
I couldn't tell you how many ideas and moves I've invented that you see on your TV. Yeah. I'm not lying.
Nope.
There's stuff that's on TV for the biggest wrestling company in the world that I invented. Didn't get a single thank you or anything like that. And I'm so proud of that.
Yeah.
And like, it's whatever. It's my thing to learn or to know. And so, like, when she's like, "Oh, Ember Moon's husband, Athena's husband," is like, why am I going to be ashamed of that? I'm proud of it.
No, it wasn't, because that was also the greatest Twitter handle you ever had.
Yeah, like, people kept mentioning. I was like, "Oh, fuck them. I'm going to own it." You know what I mean? Wear it like armor.
Are you kidding? It was funny watching all the dirt sheets every time you got pissed at like Nia Jax or something like that.
Oh. Let's reference that. Let's reference that tweet. So, Nia Jax and Tamina went to the ring to cut a promo for a tag match with Ember Moon and whoever. I said in a tweet, which I was drunk. That's how it usually was on Mondays. It would be my day off the next day, and I would just get hammered on Honey Jack and watch Raw while my wife's wrestling. Like, this is awesome. I miss my newlywed wife who has to wrestle 300 fucking days a year. And she's wrestling this person who nearly hurt her. And, I mean, it's whatever. It's wrestling. It happens. But I, of course, being the spouse, would be like, fuck that person, as any spouse would, even if it was an accident, right? Right? We can all agree on that? I wrote in a tweet, I sure hope this moron doesn't hurt my wife again. No one, I got death threats. How dare you talk about Nia Jax like that? Who were you, you has-been nobody hanger-on of Ember Moon? She'll probably leave you soon for some guy on the road. Not once did I mention Nia Jax, and not once did anyone think I was talking about Tamina.
Right.
So everyone's assumptions already confirmed
Exactly
that their favorite wrestler is the one I'm talking about. Why am I getting death threats on this? You know who I'm talking about, and there's a match with 3 other people. No one's going like, how dare he talk about Tamina?
Right.
Who's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I hate the hate she gets for all that, for what she does. But, okay, somebody asks, how long have you been wrestling, and have you enjoyed every second? If not, elaborate.
Hell no. Hell no. Enjoyed every second. No, from all the concussions I get, or having to wrestle guys who aren't trained and lie that say they're trained, or or every old timer, it's like, let's go in there and do it for real, and then I gotta go in the back going, Palmer hits hard. It's like, fuck you.
You
Fuck
said
you.
real.
I'm 150 pounds, 5'7". You're 6'2", 205. Anyway, I don't want to mention who, but 6'2", 205.
I was going to say 6'2", 205. Someone
that narrows it down to the entire wrestling world.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll have those matches, or you got to deal with a booker who doesn't know how to actually write stories, who just writes names on cards. Things like that. You got to deal with promoters who don't promote. Advertise your show, please. That's not my job. I can do a bit, but it's not my fucking job. It's your
No, they
local
just
business.
book outside media companies for it.
It's just, it's
salty.
that's
I'm
more.
not. I love it.
That's more than a lot of places go. I go to places and I'm like, hey, the crowd's a little light. Did anyone hand out flyers? Is there an ad? Have you talked to your Chamber of Commerce?
Right.
Have you done anything? Well, we put a sign out. It's like, well, all right. Well, there you go. All right. Hell yeah. Does the sign say pro wrestling? No, it has our initials. Well, there you go.
Well, and
There you go.
I think that's the crazy thing, and I'm not trying to, fucking downplay them, but when I went to New Texas and Wrestle Rave and Loco, they run out of that same building. If you've ever been there,
I have. It's where I tore my
you
shoulder out.
cannot find that fucking building. It is fucking
It's
hard.
right next to the junkyard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's no sign, there's no nothing. I'm like, how the fuck do they get this crowd that people know it? Like
The Houston
goddamn.
Premier Arena.
Yeah.
Draws pretty well. I went there and wrestled Savage King, and that idiot dropped me on my shoulder.
Jesus.
separated my shoulder, laid me up. I was doing pretty well. Had a lot of cool things lined up that was going to be like, this is a cool stage in my career. Yeah. Instead, I got dropped on my shoulder because somebody thought they can do a video game move that doesn't make sense physically.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it was raining that day, and there were holes in the ceiling.
So
when I got to the ring, it was just dripping into the ring, and somebody slid in with like a few paper towels and wiped down. And it's not a canvas like that where it soaks up moisture like if some idiot spills a potion. No, it's like a car tarp, which is supposed to like prevent water from going through. So it's just a flood of water as the lights come up in my entrance. I'm looking down at, El Nino right here.
Right, you're like...
And then this guy walks in with a little... he didn't even walk in. He slides in half-ass with some paper towels and, kind of wipes the water around the ring more. So we're like, oh, good.
There's not a puddle. There's not a puddle. Let me spread this all over.
Yeah, there it goes. And, wrestling boots are not like real boots. You're not getting a grip on that kind of thing. It's flat so that I don't leave a print in somebody's face when I kick them. You know what I mean? It's to give me a little cushion when I'm jumping 20 feet in the air to land on my feet for no thanks. It's that kind of stuff. So I'm slipping, I'm sliding, I'm getting injured. So ugh. Next question.
So never work in that arena.
No, I would. I'm bitter towards it because.
Well, and I was gonna say, I think to be fair, the last time I went there, it was an actual canvas. So.
Yeah, I had a bad night in a place that was running a little rough. Yeah. It's whatever. It happens.
Do you prefer being a heel or a face?
Face. I think I prefer face. Heels can lead a match better, and when there's moments that there's mistakes and something like that where I call it on the fly, I need to be in that position. Yeah. Most of the time, I need to be the experienced person in that position. But I enjoy face more because I get to interact with the crowd in a more fun way. Right. When we're talking about character and mannerisms and things like that, somebody booked the Monster Hunter as a heel. And I was like, what is heelish about the smallest guy on your roster wanting to fight monsters who cheat by, calling forth lightning or raising the dead? Sorry, that's cheating. Ric Flair never got to call forth lightning. You know what I mean? Buddy Rogers didn't turn out the lights. That's cheating. And so I get to convey that kind of stuff with the crowd more. And as a bad guy, I'm just a vaguely bad guy. I have to really do crowd work like a comedian. And this is a lot of work. Yeah. Screw this. Can I just get beat up and be like, save me, help me, little small child? Reach out to the crowd.
I know, because you talked about it a little bit, you've had a lot of matches with Silver, a lot of matches with Barrett, Gregory James, Jerome. Yep. Who do you feel you've had the best chemistry with in the ring?
Ever?
Yeah.
I can tell you who I have the worst chemistry with, and that's Athena. That chick kicks me in the balls every match. And I'm starting to think...
Match, not real life, match.
No, that's match. I'm starting to think it might be shoot. I'm starting to think that maybe I said something throughout the week, and she's like, whoops, it slipped right in the nuts. Oh, face. The best chemistry... Greg and I have really good chemistry. It probably helps that I help train Greg as well. ACH I have really good chemistry with, and that usually is just one of those things like, Albert, what are we doing? And I'll do my best to keep up. You're better than me. Just strap on that backpack. I'll hop in. Robert Evans, because Robert trained me, that we have that similar timing. There's a few guys, but those three, because of our closeness in a way and how often we wrestled, that's probably my best timing, best chemistry.
Cool. What's your most memorable James Johnson moment?
Wham! Oh, James! Oh! He sounds like Mickey Mouse getting the shit kicked out of him.
I was the only one.
Oh my! You should see us backstage. Backstage, whenever time James is there, and like he'll like sometimes he'll come and he'll age in a match and he'll help him out. And it's like I was like, you know what you should do? You should give him the old bam, and then like that, and then Dimitri and I are just sitting there laughing our ass off. I'm laughing because I know Dimitri's giggling and looking at me, going, "Do the James impression." Do the James impression. And I'm just sitting here going like, why is my friend so silly? Why is why is he saying wham backstage?
I was gonna say now I need because Dimitri's the.
We're gonna have to write down this question for when James Johnson is on Rehab.
It's good. It's a good one. We're all starting to nail it backstage. James, come backstage, brother, and critique us. We're having a good time. Favorite memories. Let me tell you a few favorite memories I have with Gigolo James Johnson. For one, we have all those promos, Simply Irresistible, where we're like doing everything together, and we're working out, and then we're taking showers together, and we're brushing teeth. We had one where we just did an entire promo naked. We made James's wife at the time hold the camera up, and we just held the belts over our private parts. But we were bare ass. We were in there bare ass naked, and we were like, "Don't you look below my shoulders? Don't you do it? Don't you do it?" We had those, but like as far as wrestling matches, we wrestled at Texoma one time. Some of you know it's in Sherman, Texas. Still runs third Fridays of every month. I don't book it, but please go.
You'll see CMP there.
I wrestled a match with Dane Griffin and Charlie Haas versus myself and Gigolo James Johnson. And we did a series of these matches.
I was gonna say that sounds rough.
Good news. The story's going the way you're thinking. So we have this match, and James and I would trade off on who's taking heat.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, I'm going to spoil wrestling for you. Good news also, movies aren't real. There's that Beauty and the Beast play you took your wife to. Sorry, that's fake too. So there's something called a heat. And the guy taking the heat would get his ass kicked until eventually he'd reach out and tag his heroic partner, and they would get what's called the hot tag, fellas. And they'd come in their house of fire. So we trade off on who's doing what that night. This night, I'm taking heat, and Charlie Haas is bringing it. Good news, I bring it too. And Charlie's loving it. We're going back and forth, having a grand time. Here comes Dane, we're going back and forth. I tag in Gigolo, and I guess they thought Gigolo was just like me. Gigolo comes in for a hot tag that ended quickly. At one point, it was like, he's a boom, 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 a slight little dip where they take over, reversal back to Gigolo. That slight little dip beat the shit out of Gigolo James Johnson. And he comes to the back, and he's all marked up. He's beat up. We won the match. And he's like, man, Charlie just wore me out. At one point, Charlie's like standing on his head. He's choking him, and he's working it, but like he's like on his head. Another party like suplexes him on the apron, and I'm like, damn, you came in for the hot tag. You're supposed to be the hero right now. So he's all beat up. We wrestle again the next month, brother. We're gonna switch it. You take the heat. I'll get the hot tag. That way I get all the punishment of like the high spots at the end. This poor motherfucker. This dude comes back even more black and blue. At one point, Charlie Haas suplexed him onto the guardrails and bent the guardrails.
Oh, jeez.
Like, they're set up like normal. And he suplexed James, bent the guardrail where the top one touched the bottom one.
God.
Well, let me tell you. When the hot tag came, I thought I was fighting pillows. Those fellas were taking care of old Matty P that night. We rocked that shit. That was great. Third match comes around, the final one, the blow-off one. Jigs, don't worry, brother. I'll take the heat this time. I'll take the heat, and I'll take the finish as well. Fellas, I thought I was wrestling the pillow guy. That my pillow guy, I thought I was wrestling him. Easiest night I've ever had. Gigolo comes in for that hot tag. Not 10 minutes later, we were upstairs, and all I see is, oh, Jesus Christ! Just red handprints. Oh, God. And I was like, Good match, fellas. Seemed to go off without a hitch. Thought we did some good business out there. Can't wait to do it again in the future. So yeah, there you go.
It actually reminds me of the first time I ever saw Simply Irresistible. It was a 4-way tag at VIP, the Crown the Tag Champs.
Oh, geez.
I have never seen.
I hate that match.
I have never seen someone get slammed so hard and bounce up and then back down and up again than the way James Johnson did with Ray Rowe.
Dude,
oh my God!
We had that match and War Raiders, War Machine, Viking Raiders, whatever.
The Viking Experience.
The Viking Experience. I don't know what that is. Is that sort of a VR simulation? So like, we go into that match 4-way. They don't want to take shit.
Yeah.
They show up to collect their paycheck. They ain't taking shit from any of us. They got their contracts. Fuck us. We can all go to hell. Fuck them. So the fat one decides that he wants to start just kicking James for no reason. He's already shit talked him backstage. Like, are you a referee? You don't look like a wrestler. It's like, you think gear, asshole. You look like you're about to have a heart attack any minute, you fat fuck. Anyway, he goes in there and just starts kicking James in the face. And really slamming him around. Ray, cool guy. I like Ray Rowe. Yeah. Ray Rowe, cool guy. I love wrestling him. I'll bounce off the mat for him anytime he wants. Hanson, Ivar, whatever. I don't like that guy. And then no one else got shit in. You know, and so it was one of those moments where so like 9 guys. I can't do math. six guys were like, let's just get out of this shit. I think Ricky Starks was in it. Carson was in it.
I was going to say Carson Starks, I think, actually won the titles.
Yeah.
So I think that was the thing. But yeah.
I don't think they pinned War Raiders. War Raiders just took a nap in the corner, I guess, because they weren't letting anyone.
No, I'm almost positive. I think it was after Rowe destroyed James. They did something, and Ricky Starks just ran in and pinned him.
Yeah, we were just like, let's just get the hell out of this. I'm so tired of having to deal with guys who don't want to work. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm big. Congratulations. This is a show you've ruined the fans' night because you don't want to work. You know who else is big? The Beast in Beauty and the Beast. He still has to show some vulnerability so Gaston looks good before he gets thrown off a fucking castle. You know what I mean? And I hate that about certain guys. Yeah. I hate that. And I'm sure they're nice guys and everyone likes them. Not a fan. He took liberties with a friend of mine, kicked him square in the face over and over because he didn't care. Right. That's not professionalism to me.
Okay.
But yeah, that's another one of those moments where James went to the back. And
I
have a concussion.
Like I said, that reminded me because, like I said, I've never seen someone hit the mat so hard, bounce up, and then hit again.
Did you not see me wrestle Keith Lee?
I actually don't think I have.
Some idiot booked me to beat Keith Lee.
What?
It's Richard.
It's Richard. Actually, my first thought was like, oh wait, you were huge in Inspire. Was it Inspire?
Oh my God, I was huge, but I wasn't Keith Lee. Keith Lee was the guy. He was like, that dude like opened up some sort of giant garage door and had like headlights behind him where all you see is the silhouette of Keith Lee. And he's walking in. The guy can't move his elbows. He's so muscular. You know what I mean? And he's just like walking in. And I'm like, oh my God. Well, there's your main event picture for the next 3 years. I guess I'll politic to get on the opening match. You know what I mean? No, we did it here. Well, not here, but the old building. I think when they were trying to build me up to chase Jerome. Okay. And I beat Keith Lee, who was JD's friend. Yep. At the time. Shit didn't make sense at all.
But you're JD's friend.
Yeah, well, I mean, only backstage. Apparently when the lights are on, I've knocked that dude out a couple of times, and he's beat the shit out of me. When you wrestle your friends, you hit them harder. That's just love.
That's what we've always heard.
Yep.
It's weird. Friends take care and hit harder than others.
Yeah, take care of strangers. Fuck your friends. So Keith Lee threw me up in the air. And he's done this a couple of times. At one point, we did it at a WWE thing because we had to play the White Druids for Shawn Michaels during the Undertaker build-up for WrestleMania, which white robes in Corpus Christi, Texas. Hey, I didn't write it. I just did my job. All right. Anyway, so we go there, and Tony Atlas and a few other guys are on the ring, and Keith does the thing where he launches me in the air, catches me for the powerbomb, raises up, and sits down. This motherfucker. I am 140, 150 pounds at the time. Haven't started putting on mass, but I still got those hops.
Yep.
No one told me, hey, don't jump for someone who's already throwing you 20 feet in the air because you're just going to go 40 feet in the air. And so I jump. Keith Lee launches this small child into the air. And nothing is more, and you guys can't see the visual representation of this. So I'm going to turn sideways. I'm Keith Lee in this situation. Normally, throw the person in the air, catch, pick up, drop down for powerbomb. In this case, it was throw the person in the air, catch, up, down, and then when I hit down, proceed to like look at this guy's body float head height with you and take a second bump, which seemed to be the case every time we wrestled. And let me tell you, that WWE ring feels a lot different than the indie ring, which probably has some broken boards and some shitty canvas. So when I hit, there's something called a reverb in wrestling. You don't want to hit the reverb bump. That shit hurts. That's when somebody else bumps and a half a second later you bump, or someone hits the rope and a half a second later you hit the rope, and you're just launched. Keith Lee, his big ol' ass came down that power bomb just a hair before I did. Reverb! Boom! Motherfucker! And then I still bounced in the air. And guess what? One more reverb bump. For some weird reason, the ring was bouncing back up by the time I landed. And I'm like, I exhaled on the bump. Why don't I have wind? Why is this a real finish?
If you want to know what he's talking about, because there's probably not footage of it, Keith Lee versus John Silver. Same fucking thing at Beyond. Keith Lee did the same thing. Tossed him up, waited a bit, caught him. I've never seen someone bounce higher.
Nothing's
just a battle. I'm like, what the
Nothing's
fuck?
scarier than being at your first ever WWE anything and having to see all the people that like could give you a job and have your dreams come true stand around watching you as you get launched in the air, and then you look down at the guy who's going to catch you because I should be falling by now, which I'm not. I'm still climbing, I'm still ascending, and I'm looking down at the guy who looks at me just calmly and just takes a step back. And I'm like, are you not in place? What the hell's going on? And catch, powerbomb, fly in the air. Anyway.
Did you try to touch the Jumbotron while you were there?
I was just trying to see Keith. He was like a little speck on the ground. It's like, is that him?
Wesley Crane wants to know if you'll ever wrestle him again.
Yeah, sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Sorry, Wesley, I didn't have.
Pretty sure you said that on Mainline that it's going to happen again.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll wrestle almost anyone again.
Yeah. Kirby asked, and I don't know if this was intentional to be half a sentence. How long has it been?
It's been 1 week.
So of course he knew what he
Okay.
So one time we were on a trip to Revolver, and we drove up there. It was myself, Barrett Brown, Ryan Remington, and J.D. Griffey. And we did the Marry, Fuck, Kill thing. And in this version, it was Marry, Fuck, Kill the people in the car.
Oh, jeez.
And we always I think it was like, we always killed Ryan. For whatever reason. And then, like, when it was Ryan's turn, the last one, he goes, I'm gonna fuck Palmer. And he said it with such conviction. And I just start cracking up on the road. Like, I'm like 2 inches from the steering wheel. If I have to hit the brakes, this thing's gonna smash me and break all my teeth. I'm losing it. So 20 hours later, we wrestle the show and we drive right back, no sleep. And it's a ways from Dallas to Des Moines and back right after a wrestling show. So we are going no sleep and delirious. Marry, Fuck, Kill is no longer fun. What is hilarious is occasionally randomly playing the bare naked ladies. It's been 1 week. No clue why, other than we haven't slept in probably 2 days because we're doing a wrestling fucking trip. And then we get to the house And we're just walking, giggling like we were just doing drugs with Johnny Depp for weeks. You know what I mean? We just like Athena wouldn't let us. She wouldn't let anyone leave the house until we all took naps because we just kind of walked in going, "Yeah, it's Ben," and was like, we'd lose our shit, just pissing our pants, laughing, you know. And she's like, "Please take a nap.
She's like,
please take a nap."
What are y'all on? You need to all nap.
Yeah, and so 6 years later, occasionally I'll get a text going, "It's Ben," and it's like that stupid fucking song just plays in my head. All right.
So next week, new intro music for Matthew Paul.
It'll only be funny if I hadn't slept for 3 days.
Well, you know what you gotta do now.
You want a wrestling
the
match?
Monster
You want me
Hunter
giggling in the ring?
The
You get
Monster
one of
Hunter
the other.
doesn't sleep
Yes.
already, right?
Yeah, I try to paint the.
I think anybody watching this would not be able to breathe because we'd be laughing too hard. And nobody would. There would be no match. Okay. Question of why is Jason Silver the biggest dick you've ever wrestled?
Who did Silver ask that? Oh. I mean, it's just every time he goes for Hurricane Rana, that big Johnson just slaps me in the face. Dude, just like, you know. I had to tell him stop doing the 450. That thing whips around and cracks me in the head. No, I love working with Silver. I think we were talking about it earlier. Anytime people are always like, "Oh, be careful with Silver. He'll tear down the ceiling, or he'll do a dive and knee you in the throat, or the ropes will break." Every time I've wrestled Silver, perfectly fine. I put his head through a TV once. We went to the back and had a grand time. No one got hurt. I leave. A week later, Silver tore down the ceiling. Yeah, he went for a cross body and everything collapsed. Oh, by the way, Leva got stabbed. I was like, wait, hold on.
Burying the lead here.
Yeah, exactly.
Best quarterback you've ever played with?
Best quarterback?
Yeah.
Oh, is that Richard?
Yep.
Yes.
You know who it isn't? Super Dave. Super Dave would just throw it right up in the air. And I was like, you gotta throw it towards the guy, not just as high as you can, as far as you can. Now we're just playing jump ball.
I was gonna say that's what you do in Jackpot, right? When you're
Yes.
a kid, you just throw it up.
Yeah, that's what Jackpot. Thank you. So back in the day, and this is like the infancy of Twitter, so this is a while ago, we would play a tag football game with like Richard Hill, the majority of MPX, and a couple other people. Richard was all-time QB. Those of you who have seen Richard, he's not going to be wide receiver. He'll tell you where to stick that ball if you try to like take the QB position from him.
Hey, go run a 9 route.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
to his credit, the best QB we ever had. This motherfucker was undefeated. And I would, so we would choose our captains in the previous week and we would shit talk each other even though we didn't know whose team we were going to be on Twitter. Tadlock, you can't catch me, you slow ass. The next week, Tadlock and I are the wide receivers. You know, stupid shit like that. I was always wide receiver. Hey, send the little guy go out there to run. You know, he can kind of jump. Send the little guy out there to run. Burger can be tight end. And Richard was undefeated until we had him. We had him. This motherfucker would talk so much trash, and I was always booked against him. And so I was like, I'm tired of losing. We're gonna win. The night it starts getting darker, the sun sets, and apparently, and maybe it's just me, and maybe I need to go after Cody Cox, because this motherfucker turns into a vampire. He's the only one that can see in the dark. And the guy couldn't catch shit when the sun's out. The second the moon rises, this guy's like Jerry Rice, just tucking it in. Richard did this play called, and excuse me, sweetheart, if you're watching it. The play was called Fuck Athena's Face.
That was directed at you, wasn't it?
It was, and this is why. Athena was smoking people. The former soccer player was catching balls. No one can catch her. She's like pie picking fuckers down. Burger's trying to like literally tackle her because he's Burger. And she got pissed at Burger and like threw the ball in his face. I don't fucking tackle me, asshole. It's tagged. And so Richard was desperate. And so he goes, I'm going to use this motivation from Athena's last touchdown that she was pissed at Burger for, to like, hey guys, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna line up, and everyone's going to charge the defensive player, Athena. And to the point where, like, it's just a mob of wrestlers going towards Athena, and she's like, what the and except for Cody Cox, who slicks around the side in the dark fucking Dracula here, going this way. And I see this happen. I'm playing safety. I'm far back. I'm getting tired. It's been like 12 hours of this fucking game. I'm getting tired. And I just see this, like, blur go past me. And I look back and see the dog pile on my wife. And I, of course, had to choose the priority of, like, I gotta catch Cody. She's fine. And so I'm hauling ass. Cody catches it. I'm like, son of a bitch, fucking ring. Why do I do all these workouts in the ring? I catch this bastard on the 1 yard line. There's still hope, fellas. I'm finally gonna win a game. I can go on Twitter and shit on Richard Hill. Nah, 3 seconds later, he throws like a short pass to Burger. It's over. Touchdown. He wins. He's like, hey, fellas, I think we need to call it a summer. I think I've won 10 in a row. That's going to be the last one. I'm going to start booking shows again. I can't do this. Bastard. Yeah, Richard's the best quarterback. Him and Jim Kelly.
But then you got booked to be a champion, so it's okay, right?
No, of course. That was the fair trade-off.
Yeah.
That was the fair trade-off.
Okay, she's writing down the question. So.
Oh, okay. You want to just say them out loud?
If you retired or had to leave wrestling,
God.
would you be a promoter, trainer, or
Part of the creative team.
part of creative?
I guess a little bit of all of it. I do booking right now. I do booking. I book for a show, Red River Wrestling, where basically I write the names down on paper and give us some semblance of structure and storytelling. It's like, hey, fellas, go out there and wrestle. The promoter does his job. That's not my job. I've never done promoting. I'd like to give it a try. I think that'd be really cool. I know there's going to be like a vacuum of wrestling coming in pretty soon because of MPX inevitable shutdown. What day is it? The 28th, right?
28th.
Yep.
There's that. I am a trainer already. I've been training for quite a while. I'll train here at MPX on my own time, and then I also go to the dojo out in Denton, which I'm trying to move to Civilization, away from Denton, so it's around actual people and wrestlers. Creatively, I've already dabbled in like I'm not kidding when I say there's stuff on TV, on broadcast television, pay-per-views that I have pitched, ideas that I have pitched. I have a knack for some storytelling, some creativity. Not enough maybe to get a job anywhere, but there's enough to like contribute. So I think I can do all three of that eventually.
Yep.
Man.
Is that good? Is that it?
Yeah.
All done? No more questions? I'll read this here.
There's two, I think, from Greg.
Yeah.
What'd you say about Hardakis?
What'd I say about Hardakis?
No,
How did it feel to make Hardakis your bitch when you beat him? By somebody who
That's right.
has an opinion about
Second man to
Hardakis.
beat Hardakis.
Who was the first one?
Mackenzie, I believe. Scott.
Scott McKenzie, that's right.
Yeah.
And Wesley, don't forget Wesley.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Wes
okay,
did do
calm
too.
down.
So you're
All right.
third. I'm sorry.
It's not cool anymore when everyone else beats the monster.
You went down the bronze.
I think
I'm
McKenzie
sorry.
cheated, and Wesley, that was a fever dream. I made him my bitch. I made that 6'7" guy who's got 100 pounds on me my bitch. Wrestling's real. No, like I said earlier, I love wrestling with, at the time he was Bash way back in the day. That was his old gimmick, Bash. But Hardakis is so much cooler. I love, it's so much fun, especially when like you got two guys that get it.
Yep.
There's a lot of guys that want to go in there with Hardakis and like, well, can I no-sell your shit? How about I kick out at one and fire up? Like, piss off. Get out of here. It's fun. He gets it. He's smart. I wrestled with the son in class 2 one time. He brought his son,
really?
who was like 15 and already 3 inches taller than me. And I'm like, you're so good.
You have a future.
Yes, get into this, please.
What, because we saw it at MPX versus the World. What was it like to team with Athena? Because y'all haven't really done that a lot, right?
We've only done it a couple times, and that was a decade ago. But we had a lot of fun. I remember when we were coming up with the idea for it, we were like, let's do a fireball spot. Let's get the paper. Let's light a fire, and I want her to be like, fireball to Kirby, fireball to Red, fireball to me, fireball to Red. She just goes fireball crazy, and like even we're on the ground dead, she's like, ha, fireball, because that's like her D&D characters.
Right.
And it never came about. We scrapped that, and then we're like, let's do the dice bump. Let's throw out the dice and let's do some dice bumps. And we were like, no D4s.
I was going to say, it's like y'all did better than Brandon Cutler when you took out all the D4s on that one.
Well, he's got, like, I'll do D4s if it's like TV. Obviously, because like all that risk and reward thing's different.
All right.
Some millionaire sponsor's gonna be like, hey, I like that one dude that took that D4. Wizards of the Coast wants to bring him in for a thing. You're not gonna get that like a local indie. So like, let's just do D6s and higher, fellas. The fun part was after we went home, I just drove home in my gear. Which is just like what she likes to call little panties. My little panties. And we were about to go like jump in the tub, and like I was like, what the fuck? And I pull out like 3 dice in my crotch. Guys, they're Kirby's dice. They're all Kirby's dice. Kirby plays me in a fairly regular like weekly game, and I'm like, I gotta give these back to him. Here's my problem as who I am as a person.
Nope, you don't wash them, you just give them back.
It's far funnier to do that. It's funnier just to hand these to him and just be like, that's my nutsack. And then I was like, I'm an adult and a friend, and like, it's a pandemic. I should probably put some rubbing alcohol on it at least, which I did.
Which, talking about the whole dice bump and everything, because you've obviously talked about your anarchy days and stuff like that. What is one of the worst kind of hardcore bumps you've taken? The cinder blocks, probably?
I was stabbed with the skewers in the head by Masada and thrown off a scaffold. And the most painful part of that was when they started like doing this after I bumped. And in the video, if you watch on YouTube, you can literally see me go,
No,
just like to stop them. I've had them stabbed in my mouth. I've lost a tooth in a cage match. I've jumped off a 20-plus foot balcony onto a guy who, rather than catch me and crumble, caught me, hit the back of the ring, and just let me go and cracked my head. I was bleeding on the back. Finished the match. Literally remember one fan going, how the fuck are you standing? And I looked at him. In my proudest moment, fellas, I'm going to put myself over. It's like, because I'm Matt Palmer. And I rolled him in the ring, finished our spot. I won, and I could not tell you, other than that spot, anything about that match at all. I think it sucked. But, like, I don't remember it. I just remember, which could be also a dream, a concussion dream, of, like, I got to look a guy dead in the eye going, because I'm Matt Palmer. I've had broken ribs. I got this finger broken. I've had my toes and fingers broken so many times just from like mishaps.
Took a bad step once.
Took a bad step once.
Yeah.
Talking about when my knee got fucked up.
Yeah, I think so.
I was trying to do some sort of head scissors with Kirby, and on the push off, I was trying to be explosive to help get the push off, and my MCL got fucked up.
Oh.
And Kirby, because it's our first time working, we're all kind of growing into this together, we weren't very experienced yet, decides, oh, let's slow it down, Matt's hurt. Let's put him in a half crab. Oh, what leg are we going to use? The bad one? And to this day, he's like, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know either. Just
I was trying to tell you no other one.
Yeah.
Listening.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had, I mean, everyone's tweaked something. Everyone's got a little knocked, little loopy. One time I wrestled El Generico, he drop kicked me, and the drop kick was great. And like he just came back and somehow landed on my temple with something, like a foot or a hip, something real quick. Next thing I know, I'm upstairs in the green room shaking hands with Remy, going like, hey, good match, or Rami, I think his name is. So like, he was like, hey, good match, thank you. I'm like, yeah, man, thank you. I lean over to the other guy in the match, JT LaMotta, going, the fuck happened? And it's like, did the match happen? And he goes, and he just starts laughing. He's like, yeah, man, it's over. You got knocked out, didn't you? I was like, yeah.
Well, that
yeah,
was
what happened? It's like, well, you didn't do your 450. It's like, I called a 450. What did I do instead? A shitty frog splash? Like, probably a good call. Probably a good call in the moment, honestly.
But that's like I think it was Nigel McGuinness on one of his documentaries. He talked about that. He's like one of the hardest people I've ever been in the ring with. El Generico. He's like doesn't look like he weighs much. Fucking hits you like he's 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Like no matter what he does, he's like it's safe, but he's like guy hits hard. He slams you hard. It's actually weird for his size of how hard he actually goes.
He was. I can tell you, he was fun to call a match with.
Yeah.
Like it was all fun, a lot of character, a lot of fun stuff before the part I don't remember, and then it was good shit.
Okay. Question asked of favorite kind of movies or music.
I mean, whatever gets me going, really. I'm stuck listening to the loud orchestra kind of cartoons now, or like Family Guy, or ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da while I'm trying to sleep, because Athena likes watching cartoons. Like going down South Park, going to and I'm just like, can we just watch maybe one movie that's been nominated for an Oscar? Maybe. Do you know who Daniel Day-Lewis is? Can I watch maybe just one Gangs of New York, just 1 hour of it? Anything like that. Goodfellas. I grew up on Goodfellas. I remember the first time I watched it, I was 6. My mom went to work, and my stepdad, was like, "Hey, you want to watch a movie?" Hell yes, I want to watch a movie. Let's watch Goodfellas. Oh, this looks fun. And Joe Pesci's like, "You think I'm a clown?" Whatever. And like, that's the kind of movies I dig. I like everything, but because I'm stuck watching Peter Griffin fight a chicken every night for 15 years. Occasionally, just occasionally, I would like Robert De Niro to shoot someone. Or maybe just the occasional sword fight in like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or like a Jet Li fight movie, things like that. I'll enjoy Shakespeare in Love. I love that stuff too. Anything. Just please no more cartoons. I'm begging you, sweetheart. I know you're not listening, and if you were, it's gonna fall on deaf ears. Listen to the Family Man some more. The American Boy.
Yep. Have you ever been in a match where there was a mishap in the ring?
Oh, mishap in the ring?
Yeah,
Like
or something happened.
Rope burst, or part of the ring actually collapses.
The ring collapsed. Is that PCW was like a 6-person scramble. Basically, they just took everyone that vaguely looked alike and just put them all in a match. Cruiserweight booking at its finest, baby.
It sounds like a scramble.
You guys are all under 200, right? Yeah, you're in one match. You got 10 minutes. I know there's 15 of you. Go fuck yourself.
That's what WCW taught
Yeah,
us, right?
right. I don't know why. Man, these guys never get over. It's because you gave each of us half a second to get our shit in because you gave us 10 minutes. Anyway, so they put us in this match. And the lightest guys in the crew in the locker room busted the ring to where it fell. And I told you earlier the ring was artificially raised at PCW. It fell the 2 feet into the thing, and so we just kept wrestling. And the owner had to come out going, "Stop, take it home. That's it." And we're like, "Fuck you, man." I'm getting this springboard moonsault in this one declining corner.
You only gave us 10 minutes to start with. We're doing the 10 minutes, damn it.
We look like idiots. We look like morons. The owner's out here going, "Please let us fix this thing." And we're like, "No, we're getting our shit in." So yeah, that happened to me once. No one got hurt. I've had matches where like the board breaks. And no big deal. Usually you can fix it. I've never had it to where the ring cables or the rope snapped. I've had it where the come along under the ring that wraps around the post. I've had that where that broke and all the ring ropes went slack. And like you're in it going, there's no counterbalance, and I'm a cruiserweight. I need those ropes. One time I did a lion salt, and I guess the cable like broke or something, but it didn't come undone. And so what was a pretty decent middle rope got a lot of slack, and I hit the middle rope for a lion salt, and the middle rope hit the canvas. And I was like, guess I'm going to do my first standing moonsault. And I did it. Franco's there. He catches me. It's all safe. And I go, did you see that? He goes, yeah, let's take it home. I was like, okay. Picks me up, hits me with the silencer, 1, 2, 3. It's like, okay. Hey, boys, the 175-pound guy broke your ring.
Well, and it's like it's weird because things like that, like you're saying, it was the smallest people that collapsed the ring or whatever. It was heavy metal, low ceiling in the mall, and it was Jay Sirius and Gregory James. They're the ones that took the ceiling down. Yeah. Yeah, you had fucking
tearing the roof off that building.
You had a bunch of tall motherfuckers in there. No, they're perfectly fine. Suplexes, slams,
you
whatever.
Dimitri's tall?
Dimitri's a little tall.
Dimitri's average height. Are you guys so...
I'm 6'5".
Are you guys just infused with us vanilla midgets running around that when Dimitri shows up, he feels nice and tall?
He's got that presence at least.
No, I
feel like
he's a good height.
I know I'm taller, but I feel like he's close.
I'm just so used to like everyone that I meet. They're like, "Oh, hey, you used to work for WWE. Oh, we kept walking closer. Okay, you're 6'9". You know what I mean? So like, I have to. Sometimes we'll have a classes and somebody's like 6'2" and they're muscular, and I have to be like, your average height. You are barely above cruiserweight. And they're like, but I'm so jacked. I want to do all the spots where the guy can't shoulder tackle me and I can lift and press guys. Like, you do that because I'm here. Like, you know what I mean? Danny DeVito got in the ring and like, I'm 5 foot tall. And you know what I mean? So like,
well, I mean, it's like Brian Cage, and that's all. He's just fucking jacked.
Yeah, he can just throw everyone through a wall. That's the difference. Yeah, Dimitri's average height. No, he's not. Sky's all right. Sky's a little tall.
It was just funny that it's fucking Jay Sirius, who's, 4 foot something, and then Greg James, who is not that tall.
Yeah, Greg's a little taller than me. Jerry Sirius, a little taller than my mom.
Yeah. No, I saw the card for T-Ray's summer pool party thing, and he's got Jay Sirius versus Chris Carter, and it's like, you're doing this in a kiddie pool, right?
The match is going to be sick, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be sick as shit. That's going to be awesome.
Apparently, Sky says, sorry you made it late. Please tell the live commentary story.
Are you talking about is it NTWA where they were doing the live commentary while we were wrestling? If that's what he's talking about, here's what happened. I think I was wrestling Silver. This is, let's say, 12 years ago in the middle of the Boondocks, Texas, where everyone's like 30 years behind everyone else in culture.
Yes.
Saying words that you shouldn't say, things like that. So Nigel Rabbit is doing live commentary. So the crowd is hearing his commentary like, oh, he ducked a clothesline, blah, 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 spine buster, blah, blah, blah. Silver's behind me, loading up a super kick. He's getting ready. The finish of the match is about to happen. I'm struggling up. All you see is my back. And I'm going to turn and take this super kick, right? So I'm doing this, and I hear Nigel Rabbit yell, oh, Silver's loading up for a super kick. And so I just powder out of the ring. I get out of the ring. And I look Nigel dead in the eyes and I go, I can hear you too, asshole. And he just looks at me like... Last time they did live comments over there, I had to tell him, was like, listen, just because they go to the local show doesn't mean they want to watch JR. You know what I mean? They don't want to listen to it. Let them experience live wrestling. You're making us look like idiots when you're calling the spot that we're about to do.
That was one of the funniest things about TNA and
He's
Booker
got
T,
a chair.
When Booker T fucking did his own commentary, beating the shit out of people.
Yeah. Well, that's different because he's the one doing it. JR isn't on the mic telling Excalibur and him aren't telling everyone, Orange Cassidy's behind Brian Cage. Hope Brian doesn't do nothing, and Brian's got to like, I guess I'll just pretend that I'm concussed and I can't hear this or something like that. That doesn't happen. That's
you mean
so
every
bushly.
wrestler's not deaf?
Apparently. Apparently we are when there's live commentary.
I mean, it's the same with refs. He's doing something you can't say. Why is it? Yeah. You got to have that small suspension of disbelief. But there's
a little bit. Sometimes a little too much.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't need the guy.
I was gonna say, that was the one that was, okay, that's too far. We can't suspend that much disbelief.
Mm-hmm. It's like if you took somebody to the movie and then the movie theater paid them money to just yell out the movie to you.
Darth
Oh my
Vader's
God! Look
his
out,
father.
Thor! Look out! Bill, you need to build the axe. He needs to build the axe. Oh, there he goes, building the axe. I told you, didn't I tell you? They're paying me money for this.
So you mean regular moviegoers?
Yeah, just like regular movies.
Okay, Greg asks, so did your wife know you were booked for the Rumble, or did she find out on her show that she was doing?
Oh, she found out on the show? Well, okay, so like, obviously that was all a work. She knew that was going to happen because I literally filmed a promo in full makeup and attire.
Which I thought was the funniest thing.
I thought so too, which, by the way, that scene, full improv. Full improv. I was walking up there going, I'm about to leave. Let me do one last video just for shits and giggles. I do the Pro Wrestling Monster Hunter. I'm going to sneak out so I can go wrestle. And then I drop the act. And I'm like, hey, sweetheart, I'm going to go out and see my friend Jesse. I got full-on powder and eyeliner. I'm in the fucking jacket. The hair's white, which, as you can see, not all of it's white. Hair's just white, and I'm sneaking up to the room before I open the door, and I hear her go, "He's what?" No, he's not wrestling, and I'm thinking like, this fucking chat's ratting me out. These jerks saw me post some stuff going, "Don't tell my wife," and their first instinct was to tell my wife. I nailed this booking. I nailed it. I knew they would all rat me out. If you ever want a storyline to get over with the crowd, tell the wrestlers. They'll gossip it to everyone.
So the whole film, like, obviously she knew the whole thing and everything, but the filming of you that last little bit, she didn't know at all.
Oh no, it's all improv. She didn't know I had a camera on the other side of the door. She was playing to the chat on Twitch.
Nice.
Thinking that I'm playing along. She didn't know I had the camera behind her, and she didn't know that after I closed the door, I was like, haha, what a dummy. She watched that later and just like kind of... Because I told her, because the original idea was like, I think we should do something to where like, I'm getting out of my chores. Like I have like the yellow dishwashing gloves. Like, hey honey, I'm doing the dishes. And I just leave the water running and I leave the dishes there. And I leave and then she shows up, gives someone the EO face, pulls out the dishwashing gloves, hands them to me. I got to put them on and eliminate myself. And we would play a video that pre-recorded of me back home washing the dishes. And shit like that. And she was like, oh, I don't like that. And I was like, okay.
Let's see. Have you ever injured your shoulder on a ring post? Richard again.
No. See, I know how to do that spot perfectly to where I can do that spot 4 times in a match and get every ring post. Because Richard Hill, if there's one spot that Richard hates more than anything, it's the shoulder to the post. Why did you get hit with your shoulder to the post? You don't do a running spear in the corner. So why are you ducking down and sliding between the top buckle and the middle buckle to hit your post? I hate that spot. And it's usually followed up by the shittiest schoolboy pin ever. So, being
this is why I like talking to Richard or hearing Richard. I'm like, holy shit, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Except it makes a lot of sense if you're his friend and you want to fuck with him. We've had matches. We did it in the tag match with Kirby and Red, Athena and I, to where we were like, Richard's out there in commentary. We gotta do the shoulder to the post. You know what else he hates? Catapults in the corner. Kirby, give me a catapult! And he's like, yes! And so
the whole show is just fuck with Richard Day.
Yeah, it was one of those things like, okay, Richard made the mistake of booking friends against each other in a very lighthearted angle where we're feuding about lying about D&D rules. And so we're like, we're doing shoulder to the post. If he didn't know about that, that makes him dumb. He's dumb. No, I'm kidding.
What kind of dungeon master are you?
Yeah, right. You know this is going to happen. I think he low-key likes the shoulder to the post. He's like, no one does it right, but Palmer. I couldn't tell you how many times I've just thrown that in there in the middle of a match just to no shits. I think I threw it in a match with Griffey where I just hit him, shoulder post, schoolboy roll up, 1-2 kick out, look at the camera. And then go right back in the spot. And then I get to the back and there's always like, what was that?
That was just for you.
And I grew up with Richard at PCW, and Richard is back in the day was a hard ass. There's a guy who got in a fist fight with wrestlers, who is not a wrestler, stood his own, and still ran the show. And then here's little old Matty P, the sole survivor 16 years later, however many later, from PCW, did that one thing I hate. And he's like, whatever. He's like, okay, I hate that. He would have gotten a fist fight with Mike Fox over that back in the day. Little Matt walking in like everyone's son. Just like, you can't hurt me, Papa. Just like,
hi, Dad! Oh, actually, that is one thing I wanted to talk about, because Kirby mentioned that basically you were the catalyst for him meeting Richard and suddenly MPX exploding like it did.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome for all this that's shutting down. You're welcome for all. What Gigolo was writing for MPX at the time. And Gigolo is like me. He's a wrestler trying to shift into this writing thing, and he was struggling. He had work, and he had his own. He's just a pain in the ass. And I told Kirby, it's like, you need someone with an experience to come in here and take over. This guy literally has written Texas wrestling for 20 years. Here's his credentials. They talk, it works out, and they had the most productive streak of shows that they've ever had. I think they had like half a decade or more where they were in the black. They didn't lose money, and they created a bunch of people and worked with what they had. And they slowly went from a backyard company to a place that has a building, one of the most consistent wrestling shows in the last 13 years of wrestling.
Network.
A little network. They got everything, and they got, they're shutting down on the 28th, and they got a ton of people who are heartbroken about that. I went through so many wrestling shows, I couldn't tell you how many initials that I've forgotten, because I've gone through PCW, FFCW, all these little initials. It's like, whatever new one will pop up. Not a whole lot of people give a shit about those shows. This felt like something that had a community and things like that, because of guys like Richard building a story around these guys who gave everything for this company just to chase this silly little dream. So yeah, when you get somebody like Kirby together with Richard, you're going to create some sort of magic behind the scenes. He's a good promoter, he's a good man, he's smart about booking. You got Richard, he's a good promoter, he knows how to tell stories. It didn't matter if he's never laced up a pair of boots, he knows how the structure and climax and the hills and the valleys of wrestling stories work. If you would just listen to him and what he wants, you'd have an easy night instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and do something that is not asked of you, like a lot of guys tried doing, and they're not here anymore.
I guess with you talking like that and with what you're kind of doing now, do you think that's where a lot of influence comes in that side of the booking and everything and writing and stuff
For
like
myself?
that? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think so. I also, when I book wrestling shows, it's very simplistic. It's like, I just want 2 hours. It doesn't hold a lot of people at the arena. So it's like, I'm looking at this going, the promoter needs to get whatever amount of people he needs to get in. That's his job. Right. My job is to make some coherent stories with fellas who can go in there and give you a realistic performance to keep people coming back. People are coming back. Not getting any new people, but people are coming back, and they're enjoying the simplistic storylines so that I can give these guys a reason to go out there, work out their shit so they go to better places and get better, get their reps in, and get some mic time, and everyone's happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Richard, he writes these little monologues for these guys. He's got vignettes. He's got a whole other level that I haven't gotten to experience-wise, which I need to, like, follow him around for the next 5 to 10 years and be like, hey, could you teach me how to do this on this side? Because my problem is I'm a wrestler.
Right.
So if I got to tell 15 to 20 other wrestlers, here's the specific story I like, and they don't want to do it, fellas, wrestlers usually throw hands backstage, or they get into a scuffle, or they start like shooting on each other in the ring, or they become little bitches and they don't want to wrestle each other, and it's a whole fucking thing. They go home. I need to figure out how Richard has like just dodged and weaved all that to like get all these guys to swallow their pride and start putting together a show that he wants, that he wants produced. He's smart. He's smart.
Awesome. Well, that puts us at about 2 hours. So, ladies
You're
and gentlemen,
welcome.
thank you very much for joining us tonight.
We're on a
This
tight
was,
show.
yeah, actually
2 hours.
That's MPX, you know.
Yeah.
It's always time
That's
to show.
what that he. I mean, who wants
Thank
to
you
be
very
here
much
all
for
night
joining us
without
here.
work? I'm sorry.
Well, if this
go
was
on.
Kirby, this this would be going for another 2-3 hours or so. But thank you
owns
for
the
joining
building.
us. Well, true.
also a
And
lot
make
of
sure you have your
involved.
tickets for tomorrow night because tomorrow night is Mayhem at Mid Cities, and we're going to have some pretty incredible stuff happening there. Thank you very much for joining us.
Of course,
This
thank you
was-
guys. Have me
awesome.
anytime
Thank
you
you.
want.
Yeah, it's like because this was kind of a big get for us. We have to thank
Really?
our PR guy.
Me?
Yeah. You don't realize exactly how big a name you are in Texas wrestling?
No, remember? He's Matthew Palmer. That's
Yeah, he's Matthew Palmer.
I am Athena's husband.
Yeah.
We actually got one more question.
Oh, one more question.
Okay,
One more question.
all
What animals do you have? I know cat, but what are their names?
I have 3 cats. I have Buppy, my sweetheart, my sweet one. I wanted to name her Buffy after Buffy the Vampire Slayer, one of my favorite shows. Also, a show that Richard Hill loves very much. We bonded over that. But my wife wouldn't let me do that, so I called her Buppy, the Puppy Slayer. And then Winter, my little fat ass ball of joy. She's a dog. Her name's Winter. And then we have the apps named Azula for any Avatar: The Last Airbender fans. This little psycho mother. She keeps pissing in my shower that I'm retiling, and I have to go in there and clean it and try to get the piss away from the shower tile so I can grout it. Anyway, I think she's upset with me. Anyway, she's my little demon. I've had her for like 5 years. I got her from Bray Wyatt. Who would have thought?
Oh, gee.
Yeah,
it's
so this
cursed.
little psycho jerk, I'm trying to like throw her out the door, but then she turns charming and cute. Like, oh, I can't do it. Yeah, those are my 3 cats. That's what I got.
Okay. So, again, thank you for joining us. We will see y'all later. Keep it kayfabe, wrestling fans.
See y'all
Bye.
tomorrow.
Bye.
Mark out.
Bye.
Hey, I remembered it this time.
Yeah.